The story begins with a gang leader named Jing-seok, who is going to take down the Dog of the West Gate. The Dog of the West Gate used to work under him, but recently he started to act on his own. Jing-seok comes bursting through the door, taking down his security guards. But the guy was expecting him to come beforehand. When Jing-seok confronts him about why he was laying his hands on his territory, the guy tells him that he was not like before. He used to be called Incheon's crazy dog, a human butcher, and a demon. But now he has gone quiet and become old. That's why the West Dog didn't want to work under someone like him. Jing-seok has had enough and orders his men to bring him his head. But instead of attacking the West Dog, his men attack him and stab him from behind. His own men betrayed him. Jing-seok takes down his men easily, but the guy was aware this would happen from the start, so he took measures accordingly. He had all of his gang members attack him at once, but somehow, Jing-seok manages to survive that as well and escapes with a deep wound. He was bleeding heavily and didn't have much time left. His life starts flashing before his eyes, and he sees all the cruel things he had done for the past 20 years to become the ringleader of this gang. He tries to remember what was the turning point in his life that made him go on this path, but it didn't matter anymore as he was about to die. He regrets his life choices on his deathbed and slowly closes his eyes. When he comes to his senses, he finds himself in a strange place and wonders if he is in hell. Just then, he hears a voice asking him if he regrets his past life. Jing-seok gets angry and yells at the person who was talking to come out. When he turns around, he sees a white light descending from above. It was an angel. The angel informs him that he deserves to go to hell for what he has done in his life. But seeing him regretting his past choices and the desire to change, the angel was interested to see what would happen if he gave him a second chance. He wanted to test if humans were capable of repenting or if they were evil and never change, just like Satan had told him. Jing-seok asks the angel to just take him to hell, but the angel informs him that he is going to give him a second chance to live his life differently. But his soul couldn't be saved for what he had done in his past life. Jing-seok didn't know what the angel was talking about. Suddenly, he sees a burst of light upon him, and when he opens his eyes, he finds himself in a young body. He finds his surroundings familiar and is stunned to see himself in the mirror. Just then he gets a call from the school dean who was scolding him for skipping school. It took him a few seconds, but he finally realized he was 23 years back in time. This was the time when he dropped out of high school and joined a gang. He starts crying and gives his gratitude to the angel for giving him another chance. But the angel reminds him again, no matter what he does in this life, his soul is bound to go to hell. But he didn't care about all that. He was just glad that he had another chance to correct his mistakes. He was going to live a proper life, away from all the gangster stuff. He was ready to go to his school. On his way, a guy he used to hang out with 23 years ago in his last life greets him. They both used to extort money from kids together. He was happy to see a familiar face and called him by his name, which made the guy, Kim-seok-hyun, angry as he was 2 years older than him. Jing-seok realizes that he was the one who had introduced him to a gangster 23 years ago. This was the first mistake that he needed to fix, and it was all Kim-seok's fault. Jing looks at him with anger, which annoys Kim-seok, and as he is about to teach him a lesson, Jing grabs him by the chin and starts crushing him. Kim-seok couldn't get himself out of his grab and wondered how he was so strong all of a sudden. The other gangster, who was he to include Jing in his gang, attacked him, but Jing blocked his attack with ease and punched him so hard that he wasn't able to get up again. Jing starts beating Kim-seok and threatens him from showing his face to him ever again. Jing was fuming with anger as this guy made his life a hell. As he was about to hit him even more, he remembered what the angel had told him and how he had promised to live his life away from all of the gangster stuff. He leaves him with a warning and decides to enjoy his school life to the fullest. But there was another problem. The school dean suggested he drop out of the school. Jung didn't expect things to go this way. The dean counts all of his wrongdoings such as bullying, stealing, smoking, and all kinds of stuff. Jung was getting annoyed by him, but he stayed calm and thought rationally. He accepted all the things that he had done and apologized for that. He told him that he was serious this time and that he wanted to study hard. The teacher realized that even though he was talking as usual, he was much more calm than he thought he would be. He figures if someone like him could be changed under his guidance, it would be a great feat for his teaching career. So he decided to give him another chance with a warning to expel him if he committed even one misdeed. Inside the class that he was in, it was chaos. Everyone was doing their own thing, disregarding the teacher who was too scared to say anything to them. Just then, Jing enters the class and is greeted by his thug friends. He also greets the teacher, who was flustered to see him for some reason. In the past, when this teacher was new to the school, Jing and his friends bullied her on her first day of school. She was so scared that she started tearing up. She never wanted him to come back, but now that he was she was trembling in fear while the bullies made fun of her. But much to her surprise, Jung beats the two of them instead. He even apologizes for being late for the class. He sat next to a guy with glasses and rudely ordered him to share the book. The teacher was stunned and couldn't believe it was the same Jing Seok, who didn't even bother to pretend to study. She thought he was up to something. During lunchtime, his friends asked him what was wrong with his today. He clearly informed them that he was planning to be a decent student and that they needed to look out for themselves now. They also didn't understand what caused this sudden change of heart. While Jing was enjoying the drink that he had after 20 years, he was interrupted by a pretty girl. The girl told him that Yonggi was waiting for him. At first, he didn't remember who he was, but then he realized that this guy was the king of this school. The school was basically run by him. In his past life, he had a good relationship with Yonggi. Yonggi tries to butter him up, but Jing was being cold to him and told him to get to the point already. He offers him a job, but Jing immediately denies the proposal, saying he was not going to work with a druggie. It took Yonggi a second to register what he just said. Everyone else was shocked as well hearing about the drugs. Yonggi was baffled because he didn't tell anyone about the drugs, but Jing already knew that he would become a drug dealer in the future. He warned him not to ever call him again and suggested he stop doing drugs and go to a hospital. As he was leaving, one of the goons tried to attack him from behind, but he twisted his arm and asked Yonggi if he should just take him down for good. There were too many of them for him to fight alone. Even he wouldn't be able to handle all of them together. At least that's what he said. So Jing threatened to break the guy's wrist if they came closer to him. It was only pissing off Yonggi more and more. Seeing this, June tries to gaslight him into a one-on-one fight, but Yonggi was not that dumb. He was not going to risk his position over a simple argument. He knew what Jing was trying to do, so he made it look like he was letting Jing off the hook for this one time. Jing was counting on it. He was relieved that his bluff worked, because he had made a promise to the dean to not cause any trouble or he would get expelled. Jing casually left after insulting the whole group, while Yonggi was now determined to take him down. During the PE class, while Jing was thinking about his future plan, he saw a girl who was so stiff that she couldn't even do a simple exercise. Jing makes fun of her in front of everyone, saying how dumb she was. Everyone started laughing at her. She felt horrible and was scared. Her face looked familiar to him, and when he saw the scar on her hand, which was given by none other than him, he realized that she was Sim Jae-hee. Around this time of year, in his previous life, there was an incident that involved her and a few guys from their school. She was always bullied, but after that incident, she couldn't take it anymore. As a result, she took her own life. Jung felt horrible. He was so happy that he got a second chance that he forgot about the most important incident which destroyed many lives, especially hers. He loathes his past self for being such a piece of garbage. He decided to correct his wrongs and apologize to her for all the terrible things that he had done to her. But she was nowhere to be found. Just then, he saw one of his friends sneaking into a deserted gym. He immediately realized what they were up to. He came bursting through the door to find out his suspicion was right. When he saw what they were doing, he started fuming with anger. He starts beating them brutally. They didn't know what was wrong with him and why he was attacking him, but he was not listening to anything they had to say and just kept beating both of them. Jae-hee couldn't stop crying while Jing couldn't stop beating them brutally. He was barely holding himself from killing them. Before he lost his mind and killed them in anger, he told them to run away and never show their faces to him. He threatened to kill them if they ever did anything to her. After they were gone, Jung wondered how the situation came to this, but he thought that he saved her and it wasn't his fault, so she should be thankful for him instead. But when he tried to help her, she started trembling with fear. The look in her eyes was the same as it was for those guys. This opened up his memory and reminded him of the terrible things that he had done to her in his previous life. We see a flashback. Their first interaction was trivial. She dropped her pencil and was blocking his way because she was so clumsy. He found it pathetic how clumsy she was, and it annoyed him. During the class, He asked his friends what was up with her and why she was always alone. It was the first time he noticed her presence even though they had been in the same class for a few years. His friends told him that she was a loner ever since junior high. No one wanted to talk to her because she looked depressing and she always brought the mood down. That's why she had no friends. Again, Jung finds her pathetic. At first, Jung was just gonna let her be, but it irritated him how dumb and annoying she was. Due to her clumsiness, they started to mess with her wherever they found her. It was just a time kill for them, and to them, there was nothing wrong with what they were doing. Laughing at her and bullying her became a norm for them. Soon, the bullying got physical. One time, they grabbed her behind the school building. She was horrified and begged them to let her go, but Jing found that irritating. This was when she got that cigarette burn on her hand which was given to her by Jing. The worst part was that he didn't even acknowledge he did something evil to her. They moved on to their next fun activity, thinking how pathetic she was, while she was laying there in pain. Now we know why the angel had told him that his soul couldn't be purifying no matter what he did in his second lifetime. He did some very horrible things, and for that, his soul deserved to go to hell. Now that he was thinking about it, he realized what a horrible person he was. In her eyes, he was no different from those guys. To her, he might be even worse than those two, because the reason she was in this situation was because of him. As he approached her, Jae-hee was terrified, but much to her surprise, he sincerely apologized to her. Never in her lifetime had she seen that coming, and she could see he was sincerely sorry. In the class, everyone was talking about what happened to the two of them. One of the thugs threatened to go to the police for what he did to him, but Jing informs him that he would be released just with a warning as he is not an adult yet. But after that, he would search for them and would end their life. On top of that, if he told the police what they tried to do with the girl, they would be in more trouble. The guy falls on his knees due to the pressure. Jing warned the whole class to not do anything stupid from now on. Jing asked the guy in glasses where Jae-hee was. He told him that she was in the nurse's office and that she wasn't looking so good. Jing was worried she might do something stupid like in his previous life. During the class, Jung starts listing all the mistakes that he needs to fix, and Jae-hee is his top priority. He somehow manages to save her life, but the major problem is her being lonely. She was always looked down upon by her peers. And the other thing that he needed to fix was his teacher. While she was teaching, everyone was doing their own thing. The class was a complete mess and the teacher was too scared to do anything. Jung blames himself for her situation. If he hadn't teased her on her first day at school, she wouldn't be scared all the time. He almost forgot about the most important person, his father, who was working even now to provide for him. After he was done with the list, the teacher asked him to meet her in the office. She had something important she wanted to talk to him about. As she started explaining why she called for him, before all that, Jing apologized to her for his past behaviors. The teacher already knew he had changed and accepted his apology. She had a favor to ask of him. He thought she would ask him to make the class quiet because everyone was scared of him, but she asked him to stop the other students from bullying Jae-hee. Earlier, Jae-hee had told her that Jing helped her. That's why she was asking him to help her. Jing was happy that she could see through him that he had changed. He agrees to help her on one condition. She started getting flustered again, thinking he would demand something perverted, but he requested her to teach him English. She was happy to teach him English after class. Jung was confused as to why she was so happy when it was for his own good. After school, while he was going back home, he saw Jae-hee waiting for someone. She was waiting for him. He asked her what was she still doing. He assured her to come to school daily without being scared. No one would dare to bully her now, and if someone did, he would take care of them personally. Jae-hee was just speechless. He took accountability for the horrible things he had done and told her that he was going to live virtuously from now on. She thanked him for helping her. Instead of cursing him, she was thanking him, which frustrated him. She should be calling him shameless and all kinds of stuff, but she was thankful. Jing couldn't believe he was bullying such kind girls like his teacher and Jae-hee in his previous life. We see that the angel who gave him a second chance was watching him. He says that even though he was trying to change, it was only a small part of his long list of mistakes. At his shabby house, Jun Seok was sitting while looking at the list he had made earlier. He was gonna work things out with the teacher and the girl, but the problem was how was he gonna earn money? Even if he learns English, no one gives the job to a high schooler. He thinks of buying the stocks because he knows how it is gonna go. That way, he could even make millions. But he somehow realizes that the spirit might intervene and throw him into hell. He didn't even have money to buy stocks in the first place. He made dinner for himself, and as he was about to eat, someone came through the door. It was none other than his father. He asked him why he was home early and if he skipped the class again. Jun Seok was speechless seeing him. In a flashback, we see Jun Seok in jail. The guard told him someone was there to meet him. He was thinking it was his boss who came there to bail him out. But when he was pushed, he saw his father there. He doesn't even talk to him and starts going back. His father tries to have a conversation with him, but he tells him to go away and not come looking for him ever again. He belittles him by saying he doesn't even have money to bail out his only son out of jail. The father fell on his knees while crying. At that time, Jun Seok thought that was the best option. He wanted his father to forget about him and live his life without worrying about him. But soon after, he got the news that his father passed away. He lived alone and ultimately passed away due to stress. The guard says he shouldn't have upset him that much. And worst of all, they found him much later because there was no one close to him. That night, Jun Seok cried the whole night while regretting causing him pain all the time. At the present, or should I say past, his father screams at him to stop him from spacing out. The father remarks how he didn't even greet him when he came back. Jun Seok told him to clean up as he had cooked some ramen for him. The father suspects he might have done something, that's why he was doing it. Jun gets mad and says he was trying to become a good son from that day onward, and that he should just clean up and eat the noodles before they get cold. The father was glad that he was finally doing something to make him proud and wondered if he had become mature. Jun Seok wipes his tears in the corner. He didn't think that his father was alive. Just a simple fact like that could make him so full. In his past life, he didn't like his father, but it was natural. After all, who would like a violent father? He thinks that was the reason his mother ran away as well. But when he got older and became twisted and went around creating messes, his father finally came to his senses and started working hard. At first, he thought his father was doing that just to get some money for his drinks, but he found out much later that he hadn't even dipped his tongue into any drink from that day forward. However, without knowing that fact, Jun Seok only became more twisted. He curses himself for not realizing it back then. Even while he was doing all sorts of bad things, his father was the one who stayed by his side till the end. Jun Seok couldn't stop it anymore and started crying at the dinner table. When his father asked him if he was crying, he simply says he just put chili in his ramen and it was damn spicy. The father scolds him and calls him an idiot for doing so. At this time, he really thanked the anger over and over again for sending him back while his father was still. In the morning, his father was getting ready to get to work even though he wasn't feeling so well and was tired. Jun Seok asked him to rest for the day and see a doctor, but he doesn't listen to him, saying nothing comes out from resting and that he was completely. Jun mustered up the courage to tell him to come back safely and not to overwork or get hurt. His father was taken aback for a moment, but he also said to him to have fun at the school. Jun Seok didn't care anymore. He was going to help his old man taste some luxury, even if he had to use some tricks, so that, even if he goes to hell, he'll be able to go in peace. On the way to school, Jun Seok nags about having to wake up at 6 AM for the next 2 years. That's when he sees his senior, Kim Seok, whom he had beaten up again. The guy was on the edge seeing him and was scared that the lunatic might hit him again. Jun advised him to stop messing around and to find a new job like him. He thought he came to school pretty early, but there were already many students there. He sees the bullied girl Sim Jae-hee and wonders where should he start to fix that born wallflower. He asked the guy with glasses, Pol, to switch seats with Jae-hee. As she sits there nervously, Jun starts to analyze her to find out how to make her more popular. Step 1 of escaping from being a loner is a change of appearance. He asked her to take off her grandma's glasses and found out she wasn't bad looking. She was prettier without her glasses on. He ordered her not to wear them from now on. He also asked her to bring some money the next day. She nervously agrees to him with an expression as if he was trying to steal money from her. When he scolds her for thinking that, So says she wouldn't tell the teachers as well. Jun gives up and tells her to do whatever he says for the next few days, saying her life was about to change. While he was sleeping in the class, someone came barging in the class challenging him for a fight. He was a friend of the guy who got beat up by Jun Seok earlier. He tries to remember if he knew someone who looked like him in his past life, but he couldn't. Jun gives him a chance to go away while he is being merciful. But the guy, Jin-soo, attacked him while his guard was down. Jun received a direct punch to the face. The guy was a real boxer who had a professional license. Jun Seok smirked, calling them kids, and ordered him to bring it on. The whole school heard about the fight and they ran to the class to see the fight. We see one girl girl who was surprised to hear Jun Seok's name. In the class, the boxer guy kept punching him with a barrage of punches. He wasn't giving Jun any chance to fight back. Jun was just on the defense and looking for an opening. But the guy already knew what he was thinking and baited him into an opening thinking he'd fall for that. But Jun hits him with a kick to his leg instead. The guy calls him a coward for the low blow, to which Jun replies that they were not in the ring. The boxer guy gets angry and punches him, but this time Jun catches his punch. He remarks how his punches had become dull. He smacked him in the face. The guy realized that he was the one who got baited instead. Kenji informed him how he was just getting started. He got on top of him and started slapping him. Everyone in the class was shocked to see him like that. The guy accepts his defeat and requests him to stop hitting him. Jun thought about it really hard, but he had never seen that guy in his past life. He asks the guy if Kang Yong-gi made him do it, but the guy denies knowing anything about it. As Jun is about to hit him again, Sim Jae-hee asked him to stop hitting him. He stops and goes to the bathroom. While washing his bloody hands, he realized it was the same feeling when he was as twisted as can be in his past life. The days he hit and destroyed anything that came in his way. But when he realized it was already too late. If she hadn't stopped him, he couldn't have controlled himself like before. He still had a long way to go, but he didn't understand why Kang Yong-gi was already making a move. He thought he'd be too embarrassed to create this drama, but he couldn't do anything about it because he was already on the dean's radar. Just as he was thinking about all this, he bumped into the teacher in the hallway and tasted the heavenly vision. She immediately covers herself while Jun Seok makes an idiotic face. She accuses him of seeing everything, but he denies it. Even though he was thanking God for the view, Jun asked what were the papers about. She tells him that she prepared all that for him so that he could catch up to other students. She stayed up all night and made them for him. He decided to put all the fighting behind and just focus on his studies. The guy with glasses also helps him here and there, but soon his brain starts exploding from all the studying. Glasses guy woke him up and told him that the next class was music class and they needed to change classrooms. Jun Seok realizes how helpful and smart the guy is. He first decides to make him his shuttle, but being his friend would be more useful. In the music class, as he was about to take a nap in the back of the class, he saw two girls preventing Sim Jae-hee from sitting near them. Jun sees this and sits with her himself. She thanks him for doing that, but Jun acts as if he didn't know what he was doing. The girls start gossiping about the two of them with a look of disgust on their faces. When they get back to their class, Jun finds out Sim Jae-hee's seat was completely destroyed, and there was a message to her telling her to stop kissing his ass. Jun got furious and was about to beat up whoever did that, but Chi-hee asked him to stop, saying it was alright. It's not like it was the first time something like this happened. He becomes even more furious but listens to her anyway and works away in frustration. The glasses guy asked him if it is okay to leave her be as she looks happy when she is talking to him. Jun Seok scolds him for being too noisy, but he can't just let it go. On the way home, Jun taunts her asking if she is satisfied after pitying herself. She apologizes to him, which makes him even more mad. He tells her to not just take all of it without saying anything. If she doesn't do anything, they'll keep bullying her. They kept bullying her because she was so easy. She calls herself an idiot for letting them do whatever they want. But she couldn't do anything because she was afraid they'd do worse things if she said no. She starts crying while thinking about it. She doesn't mind being left alone as long as she doesn't get bullied. Jun listens to her and grabs her hand to take her somewhere. He takes her to an arcade, a place where he goes to take out his anger when things don't go well in life. After he was done punching, he asked her to do it, but she said she had no idea how to do it. He starts crushing her skull for always blabbering without trying. She agreed to do it, but her stance was ass. Jun shows her how to do it and improves her stance, but due to him being too close to her head starts exploding. He advised her to think of it as someone's face that she wanted to smash. She felt stress relieved after punching. He then told her not to say stuff like what she said earlier. Even if she was being bullied, she should live as long as she wants. If she has something to say or if she doesn't like if someone keeps hurting her, she should say it to their face and get it off her chest. He promised to protect her even if it cost him his life. If something annoys her, she just has to tell him. He was determined to help her escape from being bullied in any way possible. Going back home, he teases her asking if she imagined his face on the punching bag. We see Yong-gi creeping on them. He remarks how he had finally found a chance to completely end him. In the class, Jae-hee was thinking about the promise he made to her. Just then someone slams on her desk. She greets him thinking it was Jun, but much to her surprise, it was Yong-gi. When she asks who he is, He tells him that he's her savior who is going to save her from Jun-seok. He reminds her how Jun-seok did terrible things to her, bullied her since first grade. The scar on her arm was also from him. She was surprised and wondered how he knew about that. He assures her that he was just here to help her. All she needed to do was to go to the teacher's office and say that Jun-seok had been hurting her to the extreme and even led others to bully her. And while she was at it, she should show them the scar too. They'll give him his full support from behind. He was already on the dean's radar anyway. If she just does that, it'll surely get him expelled. He also assured her that he'll make it so no one would dare to bully her ever again. But she told him how he had changed and that he was helping her escape from being bullied. He tries to manipulate her, saying she is naive. He was only doing that because if she just said one thing, he'd be expelled from the school. He was doing all that just so that he could at least graduate high school. She says to him that he might be right and that Jun might be taking advantage of her. But he was the first friend who promised to help her. So even if she was being led to, she wanted to trust him. Yoongi got furious and grabbed her by the collar. He threatened to make the rest of her school life a living hell. He informed her that the one who thinks has got her back has already been taken care of. We see a bunch of delinquents waiting for Jun-seok to show up. She starts crying while Yoongi forces her to do as he says. Just then, the class door opens, and Jun-seok enters the room with a menacing look on his face. He was injured and was breathing heavily. Yoongi was flabbergasted to him. Jun-seok looks at him and yells out his name in anger. Earlier, on the way to school, the delinquents had attacked him, but he took them down easily. He says how he had warned them not to mess with him again. His past self was taking over as the fight went on. The guy smirks, saying he was done for. He and that loner girl. Jun asked him what he is talking about. When he learned that Sim Jae-hee was also involved, he tried to get there, but one more group of delinquents come at him. He also charges at them with the intent to end them. He started taking them down one by one. One of them attacked him with a club, but the club broke instead. After seeing him at that like it was nothing, the others started to get scared and call him a monster. But one of them ordered them not to get scared and attack him. This time all of them attack him at once. But even then he took down all of them in just a few moments. When gets to the class, all injured, he sees Yoongi threatening her. He couldn't control his rage and attacks him immediately. Yoongji's lackeys try to attack him, but he brutally took care of them with a single blow to each. While he was distracted by them, Yoongi attacked him and tackled him to the ground. He starts pounding on him while ordering him how he should have been in his lane. But Chi-hee comes in the way and tries to help Jun. Yoongi slapped her away, but this gave Jun enough time to launch an attack. Yoongi knew he should block the attack, but he didn't even see it coming. Just in one punch, he went flying and was knocked out. The others didn't believe that their boss was defeated by a second year. After he was done with him, he announced if anyone dared to even touch Ji-hee's hair, he'd kill him for sure. And all of those who annoy or bully her, he'd beat the crap out of them too. Just as he was screaming, the dean came to the class and saw what Jun had done. He got furious and immediately said that he was expelled from the school for good. At the teacher's office, the dean was scolding him for fighting when he had specifically told him not to. He yells at him that he was expelled for sure, and he warns Yoongi as well. But he was still laughing, even if he was a little embarrassed in front of his juniors. In the end, if Jun gets expelled from the school, that would be enough for him. Seeing him smiling, Jun-seok gets angry. He thinks to himself how if he gets expelled, they'd make Ji-hee's life a living hell. Since it's come to this, he thinks to himself, he should crush Yoongi as much as he can before he leaves, to the point he won't be able to lay hands on her. As he was just imagining it, Yoongi saw him making a fist and got scared. But before he could beat the crap out of him, Ji-hee stops him. She tells the dean that if Jun is gonna get expelled, she will leave too, because she was being blackmailed and he saved her from the bullies. He beat the others because she was being bullied. The dean scolds her for taking expulsion this lightly, but he also didn't know what was the right thing to do. Just then, the English teacher also comes there. She took their side and advised the dean to at least investigate before expelling him. The plan wasn't going according to Yoongi. He was confused as to why they were taking that guy's side. Just after a few moments, we see Jun-seok cleaning up the school bathroom as a punishment. He was furiously thinking about how the mighty Jun-seok had to do something like this, but he did avoid expulsion, so it wasn't all bad. He asked Jae-hee what was she still doing there. She says how he was there because of her, so she couldn't leave him alone and go home. So he asked her to come in and help him with a devilish smile on his face, but she was too scared to enter the boys' bathroom. Then in a serious tone, he asks her why she did that for him. He hears from the others that Yoongi had told her to tell the teachers how he abused her. If she had told them while they were in the teacher's office, It would have been perfect revenge on him for what he did to her. To which she replies that it's because he had promised to help her escape being bullied. June assured her that he would keep that pro. Then after a few minutes of silence, he asked her if she had brought the money. She was shocked to see where he had taken her. It was an adult entertainment district. Her mind started flooding with weird stuff. He flicks her on the head and told her to stop thinking weird craps. From the shadows, we see someone recognizing their uniform from Sampo High School and were pissed to see them in their territory. He took her to a makeup counter. They were a little surprised to see students there. Jun Seok told them to take care of her and make her harder than anyone in the class. While doing her hair, the lady keeps complimenting her. Seeing their dress, she remarks how she didn't know Sampo High School had such a kind girl. She says how she thought that school was filled with delinquents while looking at June. He told her to stop spouting nonsense and just finish the work. Just then, one of the adult workers Nuna there starts hitting on June, calling him Oppa. He remarks how he is younger than her and tells her not to call her that. But she says how she's been looking at him from earlier and how he doesn't act like someone his age. He acts like someone much older. She was spot on. She asks him if he is acting like that because he got someone pregnant. June was getting annoyed by her. Then she proceeds to ask him to leave her tacky girlfriend and come with her. But he said that the tacky girl she was talking about was gone. She was now a completely different girl. Jae asked him if she looked weird, to which he replied that they needed to work on some details. Other than that, she was good to go. While they were leaving, the lady said how they looked like a married couple, a mean husband and a kind wife. As they were coming back home, June was giving her suggestions on her dress as well. Just then, the same man bumps into him and told them not to hang around there. At first, June got angry, but when he turned around, he recognized that guy. The man was Jang Swang-soo. In his past life, where he was no different than trash, that man was the first person June ever killed. Even after coming back home, he couldn't stop thinking about him. Jang Seung-soo was an important person of the Tiger Skull, the rival gang of their Sampo gang. Some pop gang wanted to get rid of Ja Seung-soo, who was always getting in the way. June was promised advancement, so he got rid of him. Seeing his appearance meant he was already taking up a position in the gang. He also realizes that they were on Tiger Skull gang's turf today, but he hadn't met Seung-soo at this stage in his past life. He wondered if it was something that the angel put in his way. He thinks he just won't contact him, that's all, and everything would be okay. And after that, he goes to sleep. At midnight, June got up to drink water when he saw someone in the kitchen. He thinks it was his father, but he was baffled when he realized it was Swang-soo. The story continues when June encounters Seung-soo in his kitchen. Seung was acting weirdly, accusing June of killing him to become a gangster. He knew about him having died once and called him a murderer. June tries to convince himself that it is just a dream and tries to wake up, but he didn't wake up. Just then, Seung transforms into a demon and attacks him while yelling he will have his revenge. June wakes up from the sleep and wonders what kind of crappy dream it was. Just then, he got a call from the English teacher, who asked him why he didn't attend school today. He looks at the clock and curses Seung for being late to the school. He runs to the school while cursing Seung the whole time. He arrives at the class and asks them if the first class is already over, but they look at him differently than usual. The bullies of the class apologize to him as well and accept their mistakes. They tell him how it was Yonggi who was forcing them to do all that. June already knew that was the case, but when he thinks about it, he realizes that he has become the strongest student in the school after defeating Yonggi. That's why everyone was looking at him weirdly. But he doesn't feel anything special. If it was his past self, he'd be showing this off all day. He smacks the both of them in the head, saying he'd be watching them all the time. And he also told them to go and apologize to Jae as well. He wondered where Jae was anyway. He sees the girl surrounding her, asking her about her hair and makeup and all. She was nervous. June gets annoyed at her for being nervous even after he did all that for her. But he smiled while reading that she wasn't exactly the same. Just then, the guys told him that Dean was looking for him and had called for him in the office. But it wasn't actually Dean who called him. It was just the English teacher who called him here because he was late, to ask him if everything was alright. During lunch, June thinks to himself how there were merits for being kind. Due to coming to school in a rush, he forgot his lunch. Jae offers to eat together. At first, he denies it, saying he wasn't a beggar. It was until he saw what was inside the lunchbox. He acted as if he was only eating because she was insisting. Just then, a girl accuses Jae of trying to get him with lunches, and also how she was doing all sorts of things to have him. She congratulates June for becoming Sampo High's strongest student and wants to have a chat with him. He still didn't know who she was. Last time, he went along because she acted as if they knew each other, but he had no idea who she was. Jae calls her by name Yoonjang. This rang a bell to June, and he was surprised to know she went to the same high school. He asked her if her name is Yunjing. She thinks he is acting as if he doesn't know her. He tells her to F off to her face, saying he isn't going to get involved with a delinquent like her. He starts minding his own business while she just stands there stunned. She gets furious and taunts him, saying he only likes someone like her who was possessed by a ghost but not her, and that he deserved only that, and hopes the two of them work this out. June didn't have a clue what nonsense she was spouting and asked her what was she talking about. She mocked him for not knowing and told him that Jaehee's mother was a shaman, and apparently she left home because she was possessed by a ghost. He didn't know about that and looked at her with a surprised look while she was trying to hold back her tears. June realizes this was the reason she didn't want to get back home early. He asked her if that was it. Yoon continues to spout on how possessed girls couldn't stand on their own, and they needed a man on their side all the time. As she was belittling him for falling for someone like her, June slaps her out of nowhere. She couldn't believe what just happened. Everyone in the lunch hall was shocked as well. He remarked how a possessed and kind ghost would be far better than someone like her. She was irredeemable. In anger, she tries to hit him back, but he grabs her hand, saying he wouldn't let himself get hit by a lowlife like her. She threatens to kill him and asks him if he even knew who she was, to which he replies that of course he knew. Her father was a gangster in the White Tiger Skull gang. She told him to get on his knees and apologize to her if he wanted to live. But June laughs at her, saying he doesn't care if her father is a gangster. He asked her if she expected him to tremble in fear like others, and that she shouldn't have messed with her. Then he goes on to announce the strongest in the Sumpai. He ordered that from now on that girl was an official outcast, and if he saw anyone with her, he'd kill them himself. He assured them that they shouldn't try him as he really effing meant it. Everyone was shocked to hear that, and the one who was shocked the most was Yunjing herself. After a few moments in the schoolyard, Jaehee said to June that he was a bit harsh on Yunjing earlier. June calls her an idiot for worrying about people like her. Then he asked her if she was the one who bullied her in middle school as well. She asked him how he knew about that. He found out when he saw her freeze in front of Yunjing. June remarks how she was even worse than Yonggi if you think about it. She's a delinquent who acted out with complete faith in how her father would back her up. But regardless, it was over as of today. She looks at him thinking what he meant by that. Then he proceeds to assure her, saying how his oppa will teach that delinquent a proper lesson. She laughs at him, saying he talks like a 40-year-old man. She was worried about him having to go up against Yoon's gangster father, but he told her not to worry about that. While he was leaving, she asked him if he was okay with her being a shaman's daughter while crying. He suddenly gets in front of her and reminds her what he had promised her. No matter what, he'd protect her. Whether it's a ghost or whatever else, he'll destroy everything. She believes him on that. As they were about to leave, she asked him for another favor. At the school's rooftop, Yoon orders him to apologize to her and to cancel the announcement that he made in front of the others. June couldn't help but laugh at the absurdity of the situation. She threatened to call his father, and then the whole Tiger Skull gang would be onto him. All she needed to do was to just say the words and they'd invade the school. She advised him to think carefully, because even he won't be able to take on a whole gang just because he knows how to fight a little. She even threatens to take down Jaehee with him. This pissed him off and he went from laughing to being a lunatic. He dared her to try it if she thought she could, calling her the B word. Yoon was trembling and got teary-eyed, but still continued to bluff. She keeps bringing up how he won't be able to stand against a whole gang. June smirks and asks her if she thought he wouldn't know. The truth is, the father she keeps bragging about, he's no different from a member who's been kicked out. Her eyes widen with shock. Her father's been the lowest ranking in the gang for the last 20 years, has gambling debt, and is even an alcoholic. So can she expect him to be scared of someone like that, whom even the Tiger Skull gang treats as a pain in the ass? She asked him how he knew about that. He asked her if he should say all that in front of everyone. The father, who was such a cause of fear, was actually just a piece of trash about to be thrown out. She told him to shut up with a trembling voice and asked him if he was doing it because Jaehee asked him to do it. He calls her pathetic, telling her what she actually asked him to do. We see that earlier when Jaehee asked him for a favor, she requested him to forgive Yunjing. He yelled at her, calling her stupid, saying how could she just let her be when she bullied her for years. Her logic was that Yoon must have had a similar situation to what she had with her mother. When she asked him if she has any proof, she tells him how she used to be cheerful and active in middle school, when they used to be good friends. But then she suddenly changed and started hanging out with bad people. She wanted to give Yoon another chance for her to return to her bright side and energetic self, and she wanted to become her friend again. But in the present, The little bit of sympathy June had for Yoon was gone. Even if she forgives her, he won't forgive a person like her. He remarks how a bee like her needed to learn a lesson physically. In trembling voice, she asked him what he was trying to do. He told her that he wouldn't let her go just because she was a girl. She threatens him to not hit her, to which he replies that some like her with no backing could do nothing. As he was about to her PTSD hit her, and she saw her abusive father in him. She got on her knee while crying, saying she did the wrong thing, and said not to hit her dad. Hearing this, June came to his senses. He asked her if she grew up getting hit by his father, while she just sat there, terrified. The next day at the school, after that incident, June Seok was in a bad mood. His classmates noticed it too and were scared he might lash out at them, but he could hear them tell them to shut up. He couldn't stop thinking about her after seeing her like that. He was feeling burdened. Just then, he hears Jae and the glasses guy talking about how Yoon didn't come to school that day. He asks her if they were talking about her and tells them that she might be acting sick to skip school. But Jae informed him that she had a condition ever since she was in middle school. She had anemia due to lack of hemoglobin. But June didn't believe her and said at least she wouldn't die. But she informed her that it could be bad if someone who was born with it received a shock. He asked her if she was accusing him. He acted as if he didn't care if he lived or died. But on the inside, he wondered if it was because of him. Then he remembers a flashback from his past life, where adult Yoon begged for his help while crying, saying they were still school friends. He denies how that wasn't his fault either, and also it hadn't even happened in this life yet. Just then, he hears the angel's voice, who asks him if his earnest repentance was only worth that much. He is shocked to hear its voice after all this time, and realizes he'd been watching him all this time during his second life, to check where he was repenting earnestly. But even now, he sticks to his decision, saying the angel can get effed, and that there was nothing wrong with a rude delinquent like her learning a lesson. Even though he says all that, he is already at Yoon's house. Seeing where she lived, he realized her situation was even worse than his. Just then, his drunk father comes out of the house and asks him who he is. When he asks him if it was Yoon's house, he lashes out at him saying it was his house. Then he just wandered off while drinking. When he entered the house, he found Yoon sitting in the corner while breathing heavily. She was shocked to see him there and shouted at him to get out of the house. This makes her situation even worse and she passes out immediately. He tries to get her to come back to her senses, but he realizes her situation is way more serious than he had thought. Just then, her father arrives there and yells at him for entering his house, calling him a thief. As he is spouting nonsense, June punches him in anger, but the guy was still standing and attacked him. But this time June attacked him with more power and knocked him down. He told him how he had no right to call himself a father. Her only daughter was writhing in pain, and this piece of crap was drinking and laying hands on her. He picked her up to take her to the hospital. As he was just on his way to the hospital, someone said to him how he was already cheating on her girl. This was Soon-soo, who reminded him that it wasn't the first time they were meeting. June didn't understand why the top dog of the Tiger Skull Gang was at low life of Tiger Skull Gang. This couldn't be a coincidence, he thinks to himself. Seeing the old man knocked out, Soon accuses him of barging into someone else's house and even taking away their daughter. In an angry voice, Soon asks him if he has any idea who he just punched. June called him a low-life pathetic gangster who didn't have the right to be called father. June was tense, thinking he might have to get into another fight. Soon looks at him in anger, but seeing Yoon's situation, he tells him to go. He knows he is taking her to the hospital. They'd settle the other stuff when he's back from the hospital. In the meantime, he'd take care of the old man. June agrees to that while giving him an angry look. After he was gone, Soon thought to himself that even if the old man had gotten old and weak, even then, a high schooler who could knock out an active gangster wasn't something to be ignored. He wondered who he was. He admitted her to the hospital. The nurse told him that it could have gotten way worse if he hadn't taken her there when he did. But her immune system was still very weak, so they needed to be very cautious in the future. In a flashback, we see June and other gang members partying at a club. They were celebrating because they had just taken over Tiger Skull Gang. His partner, who would eventually betray him in the future, praises him, calling him the action man of Sempo High. Just then, the adult June grabbed his hand and asked him if he remembered her and that they went to the same school. June gets angry and asks the manager about her. He informs him that she sold to them when they took over the Tiger Skull. She was one of the gangster's daughters who died before paying his debt. Yoon begs him to take her out of there and that she'll do whatever he asked her to do. But this annoyed the hell out of him and he pushed her back, saying he didn't remember a bar girl like her. He further goes on to order the manager to make her come out for work every single day, without any rest. All of the guys from their gang who come there would be served by her too. Instead of helping her, he made her already hard life a living hell, and all of that just because she annoyed him. After that day, he didn't hear about her, but there was no way she had an easy life after that day. She probably lived miserably and died while working all day long. He wondered if something like that would have happened again if he were to drop out of high school, and if she'd had to go through all those horrible situations again. The nurse asked him about her guardian and payment for the treatment, but he didn't have money. Just then, Soong came there, and he'd already paid for the treatment. Soong inquires about her situation. June asks him if her deadbeat father is still alive. Soong says that no matter how useless that old man was, he had to take care of him because he was family. June thinks back about how the guy was the best among the higher-ups of the Tiger Skull gang, but he had to take care of the lowest of the gang himself. After all of this was settled now, he asked for June's name while taking off his watch. June asked why he wanted to know his name. He hits him out of nowhere, saying he needed to make sure to teach the high schooler who arrogantly laid a hand on a gangster a lesson. June didn't see that coming and was surprised, but he doesn't retaliate, saying if it was all he cared about while giving him an angry gaze. Soong was impressed seeing him act that way even though he knew he was. He wasn't getting scared, nor was he coming at him out of rage. He was suppressing his anger instead. He started laughing, saying how he liked him and he was an interesting guy. While leaving, he asked June to look after Yoon as she is in a difficult situation right now. He calls him by his name, which catches him off guard. But then he realizes he was wearing his name tag. He thinks to himself how Soong Soo is a better guy than he'd thought, but he was still just a gangster. While coming back home, he realizes that the angel was making him meet all the people he mistreated in his past life, and was watching whether he was repenting of his sins earnestly. But he yells that he'd repent his way, using his fist and his mouth because that's all he had. He was going to hell anyway, so he'd live his life virtuously on his own. The neighbors yell at him to shut up. We see the angel, who was wearing a uniform, watching over him, saying he'd watch over him a little longer. The next day, while June was getting ready to go to school, his father said how he had pain in his shoulder. June again advised him to not go to work, but he didn't listen to him. June asked him if he should drop out of school and get a job. He wasn't that smart anyway. His father gives him a smack to the head and tells him to stop spouting nonsense. He told him to just attend school wholeheartedly and asked him if he was going around hitting others. At first June denies it, and then he remembers what he has been doing all this time and starts fumbling with his words. His father tries to interrogate him, but he runs away before that. While going to school, he wonders if Yoon is alright now. He dreams about how she is going to thank him. After all, he carries her to the hospital. When he gets to her class, he finds her devastated and asks her classmate how long she has been like that. She has been like that since she arrived at the school. He asked her if she has something to say to him, expecting some words of gratitude, but instead, she told him to get off and not to involve himself with her anymore. He is annoyed at her, but then he sees her crying and leaves, saying he should have expected that from her. She blames him for ruining his life. Before him, no one was able to lay a hand on her. On top of that, he even saw her in such a pitiful state. She was certain he'd use that weakness against her. Just then her friends greeted her, inquired about her health. She was surprised and asked them if they still gonna be her friends. They took her to the rooftop for fresh air, while someone was watching them. On the rooftop, she was relieved that everything was still the same. She plans to get her revenge on June by luring him to the people who had their eye on him. That way, she might be able to get her revenge on him. Just then, the girls give a signal to each other and lock the door. She turns to look when someone pushes her, saying his hands just slipped. They were delinquents from the other classes. She was terrified to see them and asked them what they were doing. She tried to threaten him with her dad's name, but they were not buying her bluff anymore, because she couldn't do anything when Jun Seok hid her in front of everyone. They found out that she'd been lying for years now. Now that her bluff was exposed, she wouldn't be able to do anything no matter what they did to her. She asked her friends for help, but they also changed sides after learning the truth and advised her to just pay the price of lying to them for all this time. She wasn't trying to lie. She didn't want her family life to be exposed. As they were about to lay their hands on her, she started crying loudly. They tell her that there was no use even if she screamed, as they had locked the door. But just then, the door behind them opened. They were terrified. They were sure to lock the door. It was none other than June, who was disgusted by them and was fuming with anger. The delinquent says that he was the one who decided to bully her, and that there was nothing wrong with playing with the delinquent like that. June grabbed him by the throat and said how they crawl whenever someone stronger than them appears. But now that she was easygoing, they were having their way with her. He remarks how just because he announced her to be a loner doesn't give them a reason to do whatever they want with her. He ordered them to announce it in the school that if anyone laid a hand on Yoonjang, he'd kill them himself. They ran off immediately. After they were gone, she asked him why he was doing all this, and if it was all fun for her. She told him to just go away, to which he replies that he didn't care whatever happened to someone like her. He was only doing this because Jae-hee asked him. She was surprised at her and asked why she was doing this when she even said all those things about her. June calls her pitiful and informs her when she is acting like a delinquent to cover up her family situation. She is worrying for her right from the start. Jae-hee told her that she was hard after she did all those things to her, but what hurt her more was that she wasn't able to hang out with her childhood friends, just like they did in junior high. She says how she'll be more courageous and try harder so that they can be friends like they were back then. Yoon was speechless and realized what she was doing all this time, and started crying. June was relieved because at least for now he had rectified all the faults that he could think of off the top of his head. He thought he should be able to live peacefully for the time being, but he had no idea how wrong he was and what was waiting for him. The story continues at the headquarters of the Sampo gang. We see a bunch of gangsters beating down some guy, who asks the Sampo gang's boss to forgive him. We see the boss of the Sampo gang, Jo Bong-cheol, who is angry at him for losing to the Tiger Skull gang. He ordered his men to sell his organs to compensate for the loss. The boss asks his commander, Gi-won, if there is anyone who is half as good as Seong-soo, to which Gi-won recommends Jung Seok to him. He hands him his picture while telling him about his recent achievements, how he defeated the boss of Sampo High and is taking care of all the delinquents on his own. The boss gets offended. He didn't want to take a random high schooler under his wings and ask him if he was only capable of this much. But then Gi-won informs him that Jung is someone that Jang-soo had his eye on, and how they've been in contact a few times. The boss asks him if the information is legit. Gi-won even speculates that he might be the secret successor of the Tiger Skull gang they've been training. The boss smirks and orders him to bring that guy to him. It had been 2 weeks since Jung became the strongest in the school. Since then, the school has been in peace. After the incident with Yoon Jang, he banned all kinds of bullying. Some opposed it, but he just beat them all up into submission. Not only that, Sim Jae-hee had become a lot brighter to the point she was unrecognizable, and from that day onwards, Yoon always went around with Sim Jae-hee. Even the teacher was not uncomfortable talking to him anymore. He didn't see Kang Yong-gi at all since he beat him up as well. The guys who were under him were also quiet now. But there was one problem. The guy he had beaten up earlier keeps following him and praising him all the time. Jung informed him that he had no intention of acting like a delinquent anymore. But that's what the guy liked about him. The way he just discarded his position after beating up Yong-gi was the reason he was following him. Jung was fed up with him and allowed him to do whatever he wanted, thinking he'd just get tired eventually. But he kept bothering him on the way home as well. While they were heading home, they saw 2 gangsters waiting for Jong. They wonder who they were when Kim Seok-hyun comes out saying his time was up. Just then, he gets slapped by one of the gangsters for acting like their leader. He asks Jung to accompany them as their boss is looking for him. Jung didn't understand why the Sampo gang was looking for him. This was the worst situation because all this time he was doing his best to not get involved with them. He calms himself down and thinks of taking them down then and there and be done with them. But the problem was the guy with him who was too scared to even move. But he puts aside all the critical thinking and just charges at the guy. The man laughs at him for trying to fight back when suddenly, Jung reaches out to his pocket and throws coins at the gangster to distract him. While he was distracted, Jun attacked Kim Seok all of a sudden. Now all he needed to do was to make a run for it. But the gangster threatened him to stop or he'd break all of his limbs. He had his classmate with him as a hostage. Jun didn't want to get caught by them again. Just then, his classmate yells, telling him to run and forget about him. The gangster shuts him up and asks Jung if he really plans to abandon his friend. But much to his surprise, Jung made a run for it. The gangster was angry at the students for being a nuisance to them. The student asked him who they were and what they were after. The gangster mucks him, saying he'd piss himself if he knew who they were. The student was stunned after hearing that they were from the Sampo gang, because he caused a mess, and now he had to pay for it with his limbs. Just then, we see Jung running back toward them. He kicks the gangster from the back while he is distracted. Jung told him to stop wasting time and run as soon as possible. But the guy suggests running together. Jung knew that wouldn't work and someone needed to stay back. Jung assured him that he'd definitely win as he was the strongest in Sampo High. The guy assured him that he'd come back with the cops. Jung calls him an idiot for wanting to come back. While Jung holds them off, the guy makes a run for it, determined to get the cops. Just then, he encounters someone on the way. It was the commander of the Sampo gang, Gi-won. On the other hand, Jung had managed to take down all the thugs somehow. He still didn't understand why these guys were after him. Just then he hears someone answering him, saying it was because he was not a normal high schooler. Jung sees Jun Suol beaten and loses control. He charges at Gi-won in anger, but he mocks him, asking if that is all he has got. Gi-won blocked his attack and countered at the same time. Jung was shocked. In anger, Jun attacked him again, but the result was the same this time as well. Gi-won starts treating him like a kid while beating the shit out of him. Jun couldn't believe he lost so easily to him. Even in his prime time, he wasn't at that level. He didn't know where a monster like him came from. Gi-won says how without technique, it just street fights. Jun recognized the way he was talking and his mind clicked. This guy was not only the #1 in Sampo's gang, but the strongest man in all of Incheon Underground. The one who was Jung's fighting instructor in his past life, Yeom Gi-won. In a flashback, Jung remembers the first time he met the guy. It was during a gang war, on the battlefield where everyone was desperately fighting to survive. He was the only one who worked calmly. He was making it look so effortless. They all charge at him to get rid of him first, but as expected, that plan failed miserably. His movements were like flowing water, no excess actions. Seeing that man taking down a dozen men like it was nothing, Jung was in awe for the first time in his life, and that's why he requested him to teach him, even though he was just a low-ranking member. But he was getting his ass handed to him in the training. Gi-won keeps telling him not to attack up front when the enemy is stronger than him, but Jung found it to be a cowardly move. Gi-won informed him that they were gangsters. Winning was the only thing that mattered. It didn't matter if they fought fair or not. At the present, Jun was surprised to know he was already at such high rank this early. There was no chance he could beat him. No one could beat him in a one-on-one fight. Jun agrees to go with him without making a fuss, but that was just a distraction. He remembers what he had taught him in the past life and threw sand at him. While his vision was blocked, Jun tried to land a hit on him, but much to his surprise, Gi-won caught his punch, complimenting him on his strategy to block his sight. However, even that didn't work for him. Jung realized that he was done for. Sim-hee felt anxious and wondered if Jung was alright. When he opened his eyes, he saw the boss of the Sampo gang and Gi-won in front of him and jolted up. The boss laughs at him, asking Gi-won how badly he had beaten the guy. The boss introduces himself to him, but he already knows who he is. He realizes that if he is seeing the boss, then that means he is in the center of the Sump gang's headquarters. The boss compliments about his looks, asking that Sampo High chooses him based on his looks. Jun got up and punched him in the face, but he was just thinking about it. He remembers how he got into this situation. Ironically, all his efforts to avoid involvement with the Sampo gang led him to the very situation he sought to evade. Gi-won felt something was off, a high schooler who got dragged into a gang's base for not showing any signs of fear. Also, his words from before, to not worry about the method and just focus on winning. That's something he'd say. He wondered if Jung was really just a high schooler. Suddenly, Jung started laughing loudly. He made fun of the boss for tying him up even though he was just a high schooler, and they were also at their base. He mocks them for being scared of a high schooler. Gi-won tried to step in, but the boss laughed at him for trying to provoke him. Jun gaslights him even further into untying him, and he agrees to do so. Gi-won tried to intervene, but the boss got furious at him for denying his order. Jung plans to get out of there the first chance he gets. He thinks of taking the boss hostage to get out, but he knows that they'll find him afterward and bury him. But he was just gonna focus on what's at hand. Just then, they hear a loud noise outside. A guy comes inside to inform them about the Tiger Skull gang, but they are already inside. It was Jang Seunju himself with his goons. Gi-won and Jung both were baffled to see Seunju there. He criticizes them for kidnapping a kid. Gi-won waits for the boss's order, but much to everyone's surprise, the boss permitted them to take Jung with him. Even Seunju didn't expect this. We see that Jung has already managed to untie himself. While they were leaving, the boss said to Jung that he'd like to meet him again, but Jung had no plans to meet him. Seeing that the great Seunju personally came to get him, made the boss want him even more than ever. On the way out of there, Jung inquires how they rudely found him. Seunju suggests they should focus on getting out of their earth first, but Jung is impatient and puts his hands on top of him. One of the guys slams him against the wall for acting that way to Seunju, but Jung was still talking rudely and arrogantly. Seunju stops both of them from going any further. He explains the situation to Jung. He told him that because Tiger Skull and Sampo gang have always been at war over the Incheon Underground for years, they'd got a report of the Sampo gang making moves. As a lieutenant, he was patrolling to keep tabs on them when he found Jun Suol beaten up. Even though he was heavily injured, he was still looking for him. Jun calls him an idiot and pretends he doesn't care what happened to him. When Jun starts to work in a different direction, Soonju stops him and suggests that he should come with them to the headquarters, because Sampo gang might make their move again on him. But he refused to go to another gang's headquarters after just coming from one. He prompts how Sampo gang and Tiger Skull gang are the same as him. He also tells them to not act friendly with him from then on, as he doesn't want to get noticed by Sampo gang again. Soonju didn't stop him and let him leave. On the way home, thinking about the incident and the boss's interest in him sent chills down his spine. He doesn't know what he should do to get out of the situation and curses the angel for putting him in this situation. When his dad gets home, he sees all his belongings scattered around the house and wonders if it is a burglar. As he is about to attack the guy, he finds out it is just Jung. Jung told him to pack his things because they were leaving the city. His dad didn't understand what he was saying and saw the bruises on his face. He inquires about the bruises and where he got them from, but he didn't answer his question and lashed out at him to just pack his things, saying the Sampo gang was after them. He saw no other option but to run, even though they had nowhere to go. To calm him down, his dad hits him with the pan to put him to sleep. The next day, he wakes up to a note written by his dad. He writes that he has already let the school know that he's taking a break today. Now that his head was cooled down, he realized that his dad was right. They had nowhere to go, nor did they have money, but it was also dangerous to live there as well. As he was thinking all this, someone started banging at the door and calling out his name in a loud voice. He assumed that it must be the Sampo gang. He picked up his club and was ready to put the guy down, as he had no intention of going back to that life again. When he didn't answer the door, the guy started looking for the house keys, which surprised Jung as to how he knew where the keys were. Just as the guy opens the door, Jung swings his bat at him, which he barely dodges, and tries to calm him down. But Jung was not listening to anything he had to say. The guy grabs the bat and reveals he is Detective Jo Ying-sung from West District Police. He asks him to come with him for a chat. He was shocked to see a detective at his doorstep. Not only him, but Yoon, who came there to see him, was also shocked. She wondered what that idiot did now for the detective to get involved. At the police station, his PTSD from his past life started acting up, making him anxious even after his reincarnation. We come to know that it was his father who asked Detective Jo to look into it. He had informed the detective about the Sampo gang chasing after him. Jung was angry at his father for doing something so unnecessary, but still, he was relieved that he at least believed him. The detective asked him to tell him how he got involved with the Sampo gang. As he is about to tell the whole story, another thug hits him from behind, making fun of him for being at the police station at such a young age. He also says that he is already what he was gonna grow up to be, which pisses off Jung. He punched him straight in the face, knocking him over in a single strike. He was already furious, and the guy made it even harder for him to control himself. As he was about to hit him again, Detective Jo told him to stop, snapping him back to his senses. He got riled up without realizing. They go outside to calm down his nerves. Jung still couldn't get rid of the thoughts of what happened that day. He realized that he was wasting time there and decided to leave. When Detective Jo asks what he is gonna do about the Sampo gang, Jung lies to him, saying his father was overreacting just because he got into some random fight. Jung didn't think much of the cops. He thinks that police grunts like them had no chance against the Sampo gang, and that he shouldn't trust him and solve this on his own. The detective reveals that Junsu said otherwise. He had revealed everything. How Jung Seok was the #1 in Sampo High, met with Tiger Skull gang Soonju multiple times, ran into Sampo gang members yesterday, and his classmate, Jung-soo, was hospitalized for 2 weeks. This revelation annoyed Jung. Detective Jo suggests they need to have a serious talk. Inside the police station, the detective reveals all the information he got while looking into him. He again asks Jung to tell him what happened the day before, but Jung was still adamant about not revealing anything and asked for physical proof from the detective. The detective knew there was something more about him than just an average high schooler. No matter how tough one may be, no normal high schooler can put up this kind of act in a police station, in front of a detective. Not to mention the incredible strength he showcased earlier, and multiple visits to the Tiger Skull gang's lieutenant. And now he was being chased by the Sampo gang. The detective also wondered if he was the secret successor of the Tiger Skull gang, but that also didn't seem right to him. But one thing was for sure, that he was hiding something from him. Detective Jo inquires if the Sampo gang is threatening him. Jun was taken aback when the detective caught on to exactly what was going on. He got up in frustration and told him to stop spouting nonsense. The detective tries to help him, but Jun doesn't trust them. As he was leaving, a voice called out to him, asking him if he was running away. Jun was stunned to see the angel all of a sudden. The angel expresses his disappointment in him and reminds him of the oath he took to fix his past mistakes. Jun Seok lashed out at the angel itself, saying how he tried his best not to get involved with them, but he ended up in this situation anyway. The angel blames him for it and asks him if he really acted kindly and morally sound the whole time. Jung looks back at what he'd been doing all this time and asks Angel what he should do. All he was good at was fighting and swearing and yelling at everyone, and that he tried his hardest not to become a gang member. He blames the Senpo gang for disrupting his peaceful life. The angel understands his frustration and doesn't preach to him about how he should live his life, but he does give him a piece of advice: not to reject the people who were trying to help him. People like Detective Joe, to which Jung replies that he was just using him to look good in front of his superiors. The angel reminded him of the time when the detective risked his life to save him. Jung didn't get what he was talking about and looked at the name tag of the detective again. In his past life, we see that Jung was running from someone. It was Detective Joe himself. While running, Jung sprained his leg and fell on the road. He tries to fight back, but the detective grabs him in an arm lock. The detective asks him if he isn't ashamed to face his deceased father, how his father was worried about him until the day he deceased. But instead of respecting his last with, he was already going back to gang activities right after leaving prison. Jung was taken aback and asked him how he knew his father. Just then, they see a truck coming their way. Detective Joe tried to get him off the road, but due to a sprained leg, he couldn't move. In this intense situation, Detective Joe pushed to the side but couldn't save himself. The last person to care about him was also gone. With that, he snapped back to reality, and the angel was gone. Detective Joe asked why he had that expression, and told him to go quietly and come back when he changed his mind. Jung remembered about the incident now, and that it was him who saved his life in his past life. Much to the detective's surprise, Jung is ready to talk about Senpo gang and the Tiger Skull gang and asks for his help. Outside the police station, we see Yun waiting for Jung. When the guard asks her if she needs anything, she starts fumbling her words. She was angry at Jung for lecturing her when he got himself into something bad to the point he had to visit the police station. Inside the police station, Jun ended up telling him everything, his connection with the Tiger Skull gang, and how he ended up in that situation. He left out the angel part. Otherwise, he'd be taken to a mental asylum instead. Although he didn't provide any tangible evidence, this was enough to look into Senpo's gang. Jung asked if he could get witness protection or something like that. The detective wasn't sure about that, but he did promise to increase the security in that area. Detective Joe thanked him for opening up to him. Jung remembers what he had done for him in his past life and thanks him internally. When he gets outside, he sees Yun there and asks her if she got into some kind of trouble again, to which she replies in anger that it was her line. She made an excuse saying she was just passing by and saw him getting dragged to the police station, so she just followed him out of curiosity. Jun didn't know what lies he should tell her now, but the detective comes to save him, saying he just needed some information from him, that's all. He also told her to not worry and to eat the meal. Yun got flustered. Jun also notices the bad and inquires about it, but she tells him that he doesn't need to know. While going back to Jung's house, Jun asked her what she needed from his house. She told him that he didn't come to school, so she was worried that he might be sick, and he had come to her house when she was sick, so wanted to check up on him as well. Jung wondered if he was hallucinating. He almost saw Yoon the delinquent as cute. Jung mentioned how she and Sim Jae-hee were getting along and asked her if she apologized to her properly. Even though Jae-hee had forgiven her, she still didn't feel like she deserved to be forgiven. The things she had done to her were horrible. Jung also gets a flashback of the horrible things he had done to Jae-hee in his past life, so he understands how she feels. Even though he got reincarnated, the fact that he had committed them remained. He also recalls what the angel had told him. No matter what he does in this life, his soul couldn't be saved. They arrive at Jong's house. He went ahead and told her to be safe on her way home, but she stayed and asked him if he had eaten anything, and that they should eat together. She cooked a meal for him while Jung wondered what kind of situation he was in. The delinquent Yoon was cooking a meal for him at his house. Not that he was complaining. And just like that, the meal was ready. She thought he was sick. All she brought was vegetables, which Jung whines about. But even though it was just a porridge vegetable, it was surprisingly good. Yoon pretends to not get happy after hearing that, saying it was just a piece of cake for him. Jung didn't get it at first, but he had enough experience with the girls his age to know that she was head over heels for him. After they were done eating and Yoon was about to clean the plates, Jung grabbed her hand and told her she looked cute today. As he approaches for a kiss, Yoon closes her eyes, but he smirks and gives a flick on her head, asking her what was her angel and why she was acting like Sim Jae-hee. She lashes out at him, saying she wouldn't have fallen for him if he hadn't made that expression earlier. She'd never seen him make that expression before. Jun Seok starts laughing loudly, thinking how he hit rock bottom, to the point that a delinquent like her was also worried about him. He gives her a pat on her head, acknowledging he felt better after that. While taking a work, Jung told her everything that was going on with him and the Sempo gang. He said how he got caught up with them again, which made her ask him if he was acquainted with them, to which he answers that it was something like that, not mentioning he used to be the head of the Sempo gang. She deduces that that's the reason he was acting weird lately. She was not completely wrong. Jung asks her if he has changed. She replies that he has changed. She never imagined he'd say something like that if he hadn't changed. She was talking about the time he saved her and that time he put her in her place. Jung also acknowledges that he has changed very much in the past month. He calls himself handsome, but Yoon laughs at him for pronouncing it wrong. Jung now wasn't going to wallow in regrets and work hard to be a good person again. She mentions how both he and her had changed, and proceeds to kiss him out of nowhere. Jung was caught off guard. She says that it was revenge for messing with her earlier. Before Jung could say anything, she ran away to her home. After running for a while, she stops and realizes what she has done and how she is gonna face him tomorrow. She had never thought she'd fall for a guy like him.
The following day at school, a bunch of thugs are discussing Jung-suk. They wonder if he is absent from school. One of them adds that Jung-suk has not come to school after all. They speculate the possible reasoning for him not coming to school. One of them says that he heard a rumor that Jung-suk got into big trouble with one of the top gangs around and got beaten up, which would explain his absence. They wonder just why he would do something as dumb as that and get himself into trouble. Just then, their leader, Park Suk-ji, speaks up and puts forward the proposition that they should attack Jung-suk right now. It is always good to strike when the iron is hot, and this is the perfect time for them to reclaim their past glory. The other two wonder just how they can be doing something like that, and further on, how will they make Jung-suk engage in battle with them. Park Suk-ji says that it will be rather easy to do that, as they already know his connections with the two girls. He says that they first need to get the girl who gets bullied, Sim Jae-hee, and following her, they should also bring in Eun-young. As these are the people he usually hangs out with, Jung-suk will definitely be pushed into a vulnerable state thanks to it. The guys are not having it though. They talk about how Jae-hee is no longer a bullied kid, as after her makeover, she has been considered one of the beauties of the school. They talk about how she is being asked by third-year students and getting rejected. This angers Park Suk-ji a lot as his guys are not paying enough attention to what is important. The guys are not quite sure about how they will do this thing though, as they don't even have Young-ji backing them up this time. Hearing the mention of Young-ji pisses off Park Suk-ji. He says that he does not want to know anything about him, because Young-ji is someone who took his balls and went home after getting beaten up. This makes the guys wonder how different Suk-ji himself from that is, as he also got decimated during the fight. Park Suk-ji makes clear that they don't need to think about anything other than the mission at hand, so the two of them should concentrate on bringing in Sim Jae-hee and Eun-young as soon as possible. Right at that very moment, a voice is heard mocking Suk-ji's plan. Suk-ji is shocked as the person who is talking to him is none other than Jung-suk. Jung-suk talks about how he came here to check up on them, and how he is not shocked by their stupid plan. Suk-ji is stunned by all of this. He asks just how Jung-suk popped it in when he is supposed to be absent from school. Jung-suk replies that he has been late for the last few days. He adds that just because he became a good guy, made people like Suk-ji think that he has started following all the rules without exception. However, he is now going to show his senior just how bad of a person he can really be. Suk-ji is left with no choice, and he decides to swing a fist towards Jung-suk, but he gets pummeled by his underclassmen. After Suk-ji is down flat on his back, Jung-suk wonders why these upperclassmen have to act this way. He was gone for just one day, and they are already making sinister plots. Makes him not want to miss school going forward. Anyway, he next turns his attention to the other two guys who were there, cracking his knuckles to intimidate them. And intimidated they start trembling in fear, as they explain how they did not want to do anything of that sort, and how it was all a Park Suk-ji plan. Jung-suk gets near them, but instead of hitting them, he tells them to get better and live a life of peacefulness. He says that they should get on the right track before it is too late for them to turn around. Afterward, the scene changes to the inside of the school. Jung-suk was walking by the hallway nonchalantly when he ran into Sim Jae-hee. Sim Jae-hee asks him if he is going by well without her and refers to him as a kiddo. Jung-suk tells her to not call him a kiddo and lets her know that he has been doing all right. Sim Jae-hee shows a bit of her concerned side, as she says how she was worried about his well-being after the class, because Jin-soo was hurt and sent to a hospital after the showdown. Jung-suk sees genuine concern for him in Sim Jae-hee's eyes and realizes that he has indeed come a long way as a person. Jae-hee, who was a victim of his bullying not too long ago, is already worrying about him so much. It brings a real smile to his face. Just then, the two of them notice that there is someone who is spying on them. Jung-suk realizes who it might be and tells Sim Jae-hee to wait as he goes to figure out who it is. On the other side, we get to know that it was Eun-young looking at them. She is relieved, thinking that they probably did not notice them keeping an eye on them. Following that, she is hit with a truck of embarrassment as she recalls the kiss she planted on Jung-suk's lips. She wonders just why she did something like that. It was very impulsive, as not too long before that she and Jung-suk were at war with each other. That being said, she cannot deny the fact that she has developed some feelings and liked the feeling of kissing him. As she is invested in her own world, Jung-suk comes and stands beside her and asks her why she is hiding. This scares the heck out of Eun-young as she screams and slaps Jung-suk. Sim Jae-hee hears the voice and realizes that it is Eun-young who is keeping an eye on them. Back to the scene, Jung-suk holds his face and asks Eun-young why she slapped him the moment she saw him. Eun-young says that it is because she got scared by him. Jung-suk then goes on to ask why she was hiding behind the wall and keeping an eye on him and Sim Jae-hee. Eun-young analyzes the words and overall attitude of Jung-suk and comes to the understand that Jung-suk was not bothered at all by her kiss. She wonders if the kiss was so insignificant to him that he does not care at all. She gets all worked up thanks to all this and does not understand why. She decides to leave the scene, but Jung-suk grabs her hand to stop her. Upon pulling her back, he notices that she has been crying uncontrollably. Noticing the severity of the situation, he pulls her in for a hug. He comforts him and tells her that he understands her condition and says they will talk after she is calmed down. Eun-young agrees, as she buries her face in his chest and cries. Jung-suk wonders just what kind of a pickle he has gotten himself into but decides to look into it later. However, Sim Jae-hee ends up seeing that Jung-suk is hugging Eun-young, and it makes her blush. Later at the rooftop, once calmed down, Eun-young asks Jung-suk if he was surprised by her sudden behavior. In reality, Jung-suk was indeed very surprised by her behavior and wanted to call her out, but he told her that it was fine. Following that, Jung-suk was a little tensed up, as he was wondering what the implications would be if Eun-young asked him out. Just then, Eun-young says that she won't be randomly asking him out. Jung-suk was a little shocked, as he wondered if he is too easy to read. Eun-young went on about how the last few days of her life were too good and gave her a lot of happiness. Being a delinquent for a long time and getting beaten up by her father, she forgot how usual life is like. However, for the last few days, after making up with Sim Jae-hee and Jung-suk, she started going on about life like how any average teenage girl would. But she feels like she does not deserve it at all because she is a delinquent after all. Jung-suk speaks up, saying that she is speaking the truth. She really does not deserve to be a normal girl. Does she even remember how she bullied many people before, how she behaved with Jae-hee? Eun-young tells him to stop, as she already knows all the bad things she has done. However, Jung-suk sits beside her and tells her that despite all this, she has tried to change herself, and if no one accepts her, he will. This ends up mending Eun-young's heart, as she says that if he talks to her in this manner, she will start expecting something back from him. Saying this, she starts crying again. Jung-suk tells her that she should stop being a crybaby now, because it does not really suit her. Eun-young replies saying that she isn't a delinquent anymore, so it is fine. Meanwhile, back at the school hallway, Sim Jae-hee is left wondering about what she saw with Jung-suk and Eun-young. She thinks about how she wanted to go along with Eun-young when she said that she wanted to visit Jung-suk, but Eun-young told her she wanted to go alone. Now she understands why she wanted to go alone. However, she feels very uncomfortable thinking about these things. She does not quite understand why, as she should be congratulating them if anything. Right then, she sees a crowd forming around at a specific spot. Upon paying closer attention, she notices that her mother was there. She had come to take Sim Jae-hee along with her. Her mother sees her standing there, so she quickly walks up to her and pulls her along with her. Everyone in the school is shocked by this. They can't believe that Jae-hee's mother is a shaman for real based on the way she was dressed. At the rooftop, Jung-suk suddenly remembered Sim Jae-hee. He wondered why Jae-hee looked distressed and if anything bad happened to her while he was absent. He got up and felt the need to go see Jae-hee instantly. So he told Eun-young that he was leaving right away. Eun-young followed him, saying that she wanted to go with him too. Meanwhile, Jae-hee was being dragged by her mother. Jae-hee tried to tell her mother how she left her bag in the class and wanted to fetch it. But her mother told her that it was not needed as from that day onwards, she wouldn't need to come to school again. Jae-hee was stunned upon hearing this. She asked her mother just what she meant by what she said. Her mother told her that she will be quitting school and everything to come with her and start worshipping. Jae-hee immediately let go of her mother's hand and stood firm. She said that she does not want to listen to any of that, not when her mother literally stopped talking to her for over a year. And now that everything is locked and good, she has to come and interfere with her life. Her mother got extremely angry and slapped Jae-hee. She went on ahead, calling Jae-hee a fool and said that she did not want to do it on purpose. She says her only purpose behind this is to save Jae-hee's life. While at her shamanic work, she learned that a demon was after Jae-hee, so she needed to be cleansed to be saved. Jae-hee understands somewhat, but after a long time, she finally managed to shed the image of the dumb girl and stopped getting bullied. Just when she started being an individual personality and started to make friends, this happened. Which is why she says that she is better off losing her life doing what she wants than doing something she does not want to do. This further angers her mother as she gets ready to slap Jae-hee again, when her hand is stopped by a certain Jung-suk. Jae-hee's mother glared back at her to see who it was that stopped her. Jung-suk told her that she was having bad news and that she couldn't be going around hitting students inside the school. He tells her that she can't be doing that and that she has to, at the very least, follow the basic etiquette of the school. Jae-hee is surprised to see Jung-suk coming to her aid. Jae-hee's mother quickly gets out of Jung-suk's grasp, calling him an arrogant fool. Jung-suk tried to make peace, saying that he had no idea what was going on. But the woman yells and points at him, saying he is the demon. She says that Jung-suk is the one who will end up taking her daughter's life away. Jung-suk was gobsmacked learning this, as he wondered what she meant. The woman went on to explain how Jung-suk emits the kind of evil energy that she has never felt before. She is almost certain that he is going to be the one who will end up taking Sim Jae-hee's life. Hearing this, Jung-suk comes to understand what the shaman woman meant, as in his previous life, he was the indirect cause for Sim Jae-hee passing away, and he can understand what she means by him giving off a negative aura, as in his core he is a 40-year-old gangster. Even the angel told him that there was no way for his soul to be cleansed. Everyone starts mocking Jae-hee's mother and her beliefs in ghosts and whatnot. Jae-hee tries to clarify to her mother that Jung-suk is not an enemy, and that he is in fact her best friend. He helped her through her toughest period in life. But to the surprise of Jae-hee, Jung-suk comes to her and tells her to go with her mother for the day. Jae-hee asks Jung-suk what he meant by that, but Jung-suk just told her that he cannot help her and leaves the place. Jae-hee is left broken down from what Jung-suk just said. The bystanders were also criticizing Jung-suk, saying that he was just pranking Jae-hee all along, and that he is still a bad guy. Jae-hee wonders just what changed for Jung-suk to be this way with her. What happened to the promise he had made to her, when he said that he would protect her no matter what the situation was. Jae-hee's mother approaches her and tells her to come along with her and points out to her how that person was never her friend. Jae-hee is hesitant, but she agrees to go along with her mother to get cleansed of the evil eye. Back at Jae-hee's place, her mother gets into her zone. She feels bad for doing what she is doing, but there is no other way for her to fix her daughter's life. She hands over the guidebook on how to become a shaman to a dreadful Jae-hee. She tells her to read it and learn from it, as there is a lot to learn from there, even if she has the blood of her mother. She tells Jae-hee that she must resent her for this, but there's no other way. Jae-hee replies saying that she does not resent her. She knew why her mother never wanted to talk to her or meet her during the last year or so. It was because she did not want her daughter to be involved in this business. So, for her to tell Jae-hee to pick this up, there must be a reason for this. However, that part does not bother Jae-hee. As Jae-hee thinks of her time with Jung-suk, she states that if she were to end up like this anyway, it would have been better for her to never learn about happiness. Saying this, Jae-hee tears up. Her mother tells her to not focus on that. In actuality, her mother is also crying. As Jae-hee is about to pick up the book, Jung-suk arrives and picks it up for himself. He sees the weird stuff written on there and says that it is better to learn English instead of this. Jae-hee is astounded to see him there, but her mother is angered by this. Jung-suk bows his head down, as he confesses to Jae-hee's mother how he is a bad person, as she mentioned, and that he was the one bullying her daughter for over a year. This pisses off Jae-hee's mother beyond limits, as she ends up hitting Jung-suk with the stick she had. Jung-suk takes it and says that one hit is not enough to punish him for his crimes. She should hit him 1,000 times or more. The lady, angry, asks Jung-suk just what business he has with her little girl. Jung-suk tells her that he has just one request to make to her. That is for her to allow Jae-hee to graduate high school at least. He promises to protect Jae-hee with his life until then. Jae-hee's mother is not having it. She says that he is just spouting nonsense in front of her and tells him to just leave. Jung-suk then goes on to ask her about the demise she saw for Sim Jae-hee. He asks if she saw it in detail. This makes Jae-hee's mother see the scene she saw of her daughter passing away, but she does not want to think of it. She quickly comes back to her senses and tells Jung-suk to just stay away from her girl. She does not want him around her. Right at that moment, Jae-hee's mother starts seeing the angel that is usually around Jung-suk. The angel asks her if she really wants this. Jae-hee's mother is stunned to say the least. She can't believe that such a high-level angel, who has such a pure aura, is coming to see her. She wonders what it is about. She immediately bows down and apologizes to the angel of heaven, saying that she apologizes for all her mistakes. She asks the angel if it is there to punish her. However, the angel tells her that it is not there to do anything of that sort. This makes Jae-hee's mother wonder if the angel is there to make a case for Jung-suk. She goes on, asking the angel if it is there to ask her to sacrifice her own daughter. No mother in the world would willfully let her daughter pass away. She cries, and lets the angel know what she has seen about Jae-hee. She says that no matter how much she tries to cleanse her, she always sees Jae-hee passing away alone, in the dark. What's worse is that Jae-hee was calling out the name of Jung-suk while she was passing away. Jae-hee's mother knows that Jung-suk is not directly involved in Jae-hee's passing away, but it does not change the fact that he is the cause for it. The angel says that she must already know of Jung-suk's existence. The mother said that she does know that he is not the culprit, but she can't push her daughter towards him. However, she says that if the angel itself protects her daughter, only then will she let her out of this lock. The angel says that it cannot protect Jae-hee. It can't do anything to prevent the events that are to happen. The mother understands that and says that the angel should forget what she said. But the angel goes on, telling her how the angel, for a brief period, did look over Sim Jae-hee. This shocks her, as the angel goes on to say that it is just as the mother said. Jae-hee is the opposite of Jung-suk. She is a great person. Even though people have done her wrong many times, never once has she resented them. Not only that, but she has also often thought about helping her wrongdoers. She is an incredible person. The mother asks the angel if Jung-suk was the one who bullied her. The angel replied that he did bully her, but he is also the one who saved her during the most vulnerable period of her life. She was being bullied for years. The mother is astounded to learn this. She did not know that her daughter was being bullied before Jung-suk. She breaks down as she realizes that her daughter handled the weight of ostracization for years without letting her know. She cries as she adds how she is a failure of a parent, because she couldn't help her kid. And now, all of a sudden, she comes out of nowhere to be a protector of her daughter. She does not want to do that anymore again. She asks the angel to do whatever it wants with her daughter, as she has no right to say anything anymore. The angel consoles her, saying that it was not its intention to change her mind. Never could an angel berate a mother for trying her best to save their own daughter. However, she needs to learn that nothing is set in stone. If a bad man like Jung-suk changes into being a good person, then so can the passing away of her daughter. After all, it has not happened yet, so it is not a certainty. This is an eye-opening moment for the shaman lady. As the angel fades away, Jung-suk and Sim-jae are both worried for her as she has been behaving rather weirdly. The mother wastes no time to go and embrace Jae-hee. She cries and lets her beloved daughter know that she loves her. Jae-hee also couldn't hold back her tears as her mother let her know of this. She cries before telling her mother that she loves her back. As they are sharing an emotional moment together, Jung-suk gets weirded out by the sudden change of behavior from the shaman lady. He quickly comes to realize the aura that he had just felt from her. It was quite similar to the one he felt from the angel that follows him. Just then the mother of Jae calls out to Jung-suk and asks him if he really meant what he had said earlier on about protecting her daughter at all costs. Jung-suk sees the opportunity and bows down to let her know that he is indeed going to do that. That being said, the woman told him that it is not enough. She goes on to tell him that he must not only protect her but also make her happy. It is to make up for all the time she has been sad. Jung-suk agrees to carry out the offer as is said. Later on, Jung-suk is handed over to a talisman by the mother. She tells him to keep it by his side. Jung-suk is skeptical of it and asks if it is to keep away ghost spirits. To his surprise, the mother tells him that it is the opposite. The talisman brings in ghosts. He finds that to be quite scary, but the lady tells him that it is very much essential for him now. Jung-suk finds her request to be rather unreasonable, but he decides to keep it. Jae-hee's mother, though, thinks that Jung-suk is quite a coward for a big guy, which annoys Jung-suk. Sometime later, Jae-hee tells her mom that they will be leaving the place. Her mom tells her that she should leave soon, as it is not good for her to spend time in a place full of spirits. But Jae-hee tells her that she will be back to see her mother again. The two of them make their way out, and while on the road they start talking. Jae-hee thanks Jung-suk for the save today, but Jung-suk apologizes to her. Jung-suk expounds that he is sorry because of what he did earlier when he let her go and ran away from the school. Jae-hee tells him that it is fine, because she understands the kind of dilemma he might have had to go through back then. Instead of that, though, Jung-suk lets her know that he did it because it was the best choice at that point. He elaborates how the people were looking down on her and her mother, and in order to save them from scrutiny, he turned the attention to himself. This leaves Jae-hee flabbergasted as she can't believe how Jung-suk did all that and dirted his own reputation to help them. He says that it is fine, and that he isn't exactly a very famous guy anyway. And besides that, he had promised to protect her from everything going forward, so it was a necessary thing. This really makes Jae-hee fall for Jung-suk as she runs towards him and hugs him from the back. Jung-suk is a bit taken aback by this. Jae-hee then confesses her love for him, even though she is aware of her and Eun-young. Jung-suk is shocked that she knows about Eun-young, but the point he makes is that she is making a mistake. He adds that she should not be falling in love with the man who has done so much bad for her. He thinks about what he did in his previous life and says that he has done things to her that she has no idea about. Jae-hee tells him that she knows exactly what he did for her, and that is help her. He helped her during a very tough period in his life. She also adds that he does not need to reciprocate the love, because she knows that he likes Eun-young. Jung-suk clarifies that she is misunderstanding the situation between him and Eun-young, stating that there is nothing between them. Jae-hee feels like he is lying, as she tells him about how she saw him and Eun-young hugging it out. Jung-suk is a bit flustered by this and lets her know that it all just happened in a flash, but that does not mean that they are going out or anything. He strokes her head and tells her that her and Eun-young can compete for his love from now on. After all, love is about who wins first. His inner self is quite embarrassed from what he is saying, though. Jae-hee blushes from what he just said and goes on to give him a massive hug, saying that she will be doing her best to make sure that she does not lose out to Eun-young. Jung-suk comes to understand that if he had said this to Eun-young, she would have called him out for it, but Jae-hee is different in her own way. Later that night, Jung-suk was sitting in his room. His father saw him and asked him why he wasn't sleeping. Jung-suk tells him that he can't sleep no matter how much he tries to. His father finds this quite ridiculous as he thinks young kids should just study if they are not sleeping at night. Jung-suk then goes on to ask what kind of a person his mother was. His father is a bit uncomfortable hearing this and tells him to not worry about pointless things and go to sleep. After his father leaves, Jung-suk thinks about how he usually appreciates what Jae-hee does. But this time, he is feeling jealous of her for having a mother. He spends the night wondering what kind of a person was the mother that he was never able to meet in his lifetime. The scene shifts and we are thrown into the middle of a fight between Jang Sung-ju's squad and the Sampo gang. The fight is quite intense as both sides are going at it with all they've got. However, it seems like the Sampo gang has taken the advantage. The leaders of both gangs stand face to face as the battle goes on. Just then, a Sampo gang member is let loose with a baseball bat, and he comes right after Jang Sung-ju to finish him off. The guy is quite loud in his approach, so by the time he arrives, Jang Sung-ju grabs him by the head. Sung-ju tells him how it is not a great idea to be shouting when he is supposed to do a sneak attack on him. Before he slams the guy down, Jang Sung-ju notices the tides turning against his gang, as the numbers on Sampo gang's side are too much for them to handle. He decides to figure a way out of this, so he calls out the leader of the Sampo gang squad, Yeom Ki-hwan. He offers him a deal. He suggests the two of them go one-on-one instead of causing so much damage, and the winner gets to keep the area. Yeom Ki-hwan does not get the point of it, as according to him, he already has the advantage in the fight. Jang Sung-ju acknowledges that but tells him that if he wants to lead this area, he shouldn't cause so much damage there and go for the 1-versus-1 route. Yeom Ki-hwan picks up the offer, citing Jang Sung-ju's constant begging to be the reason behind the change of style. The two of them go right at each other. They try to cross each other out with a punch. However, the only punch that lands is that of Yeom Ki-hwan. He lands flush on Sung-ju's face, while Sung-ju's punch is caught by him. Sung-ju is unbothered by this though, as he pushes through the block with power, and calls Yeom Ki-hwan's punch weak. However, as he swings for an uppercut, he gets caught by Yeom Ki-hwan's uppercut in return. This shakes up Jang Sung-ju, but he tells Yeom Ki-hwan to stop the crafty work and come at him directly. Yeom Ki-hwan goes for a roundhouse head kick, but to everyone's surprise, it is easily blocked by Jang Sung-ju. Sung-ju tells Yeom Ki-hwan that he has got him, but Yeom Ki-hwan is too skilled. He manages to leverage the blocked kick to force up and hit Sung-ju with the other leg, knocking him down with the enziguri. Jang Sung-ju gets quite hurt from the blow. He realizes that Yeom Ki-hwan is not like any other gangster after all. He wonders if the rumors that he heard about Yeom Ki-hwan being in the Special Army Force were true. Just then, he finds a dagger lying beside him. Jang Sung-ju picks it up, and this changes the complexion of Yeom Ki-hwan's face. Sung-ju notices the nervous expression on his foe, so he taunts Yeom Ki-hwan about it. Despite that, Sung-ju ends up throwing away the dagger he had found, astonishing everyone. He gets up and poses the question to Yeom Ki-hwan if he really thought that Jang Sung-ju would use a weapon in a man-to-man fight. This seems to mess with the ego of Yeom Ki-hwan, as he says that Jang Sung-ju will definitely regret this once he finishes him off for good. What follows can only be described as utter destruction, as Jang Sung-ju gets beaten up badly by Yeom Ki-hwan. It is not just any kind of beat down, as Yeom Ki-hwan hits him with all sorts of technical boxing punches, perfectly timing his jabs, crosses, hooks, and uppercuts. The beating is so powerful that it has Jang Sung-ju looking like a chump. This is too much for the people of Sung-ju's gang to watch, as one of them snaps and decides to step in to help his leader. However, the guy is stopped by another Sung-ju gang member. The guy tells his teammate to stop as stepping in will tarnish Sung-ju's name. Meanwhile, Jang Sung-ju tries to throw what looks like a desperate straight punch, but the skillful Yeom Ki-hwan ducks down and uses his full body force to drive in an elbow to the body of Jang Sung-ju. This seemingly takes the wind out of Sung-ju. His gang member once again tries to break out to help him, stating that Sung-ju will lose his life at this rate. He is once again stopped by his teammate, as he tells him that Sung-ju chose the one-on-one fight to protect them, and they must respect that. But he also points out that despite being beaten up this badly, their leader is still standing strong on his feet. Yeom Ki-hwan goes in to throw another punch, but this one is caught by Jang Sung-ju. Sung-ju tells him that he has finally got him where he wants him. But Yom Ki-hwan has none of it because according to him, Jang Sung-ju is in his last breath, and he is going to finish him off. Yom Ki-hwan tries to go for the final blow, but he can't seem to pull out his hand from Jang Sung-ju's grasp. Yom Ki-hwan wonders why is it that Jang Sung-ju still has such incredible grip strength despite being beaten up so badly till now. Jang Sung-ju finally starts his counterattack as he throws an otherworldly strong punch at Yom Ki-hwan. Yom Ki-hwan blocks the punch, but the weight of it is so much that he is sent flying back on sheer force alone. As Yom Ki-hwan is down, Sung-ju's gang celebrates the comeback from their leader. Sung-ju also does some trash talking, as he tells Yom Ki-hwan that it is not over as he said to him previously. However, Yom Ki-hwan tells him that he does not find any of this funny anymore. He says that for someone who is about to lose his life at any second, Jang Sung-ju sure does like to act all cocky after somehow getting in just one punch. That being said, for someone like Yom Ki-hwan, dropping Jang Sung-ju will be no big deal. As he is talking a lot, Sung-ju interrupts him and says that Yom Ki-hwan isn't looking very good. He asks him if he requires a break, because Sung-ju will allow him one. But Yom Ki-hwan gets into his flamboyant martial arts stance and tells him to bring it on. Sung-ju finds this all to be quite ridiculous. He proceeds to get into his fighting position himself and makes fun of the flashy stance of his opponent. After that, the two rivals go at it directly, but just as they are about to start their epic clash in full flow, the police arrive at the scene and fire empty rounds to stop the gangsters. The police tell them that they have been surrounded by all corners and that they should give it up. This creates a moment of panic for everyone, as the police come at them, and they have to escape. Sung-ju and Yom Ki-hwan stand still as they realize that their battle has to be stopped. Sung-ju tells him that Yom Ki-hwan basically got saved by the bell, and that he would have lost if the fight had gone on. Yom Ki-hwan admits that Sung-ju has been his most formidable opponent till date, as he has survived the longest against him. He also goes on to praise the power of the man, saying he really carries a strong hit in him. However, Sung-ju failed to finish off the boogeyman when he was there, and now the boogeyman will get him. He should have finished him off right when he had the dagger in hand, but his weird morals did not allow him to do so. Yom Ki-hwan lets him know that he will be regretting that decision with his life, because in this world, there is no place for the weak-hearted. After that, they all go their separate ways. While on his way, Jang Sung-ju thinks about the Sampo gang and how they have gotten ridiculously strong. In the space of a few days, they attacked their business district 3 times. Their strength has gotten too much. He wonders what the cause of them might be getting so strong so quickly. He wonders if there is someone big backing them up or anything of that sort. One of Jang Sung-ju's gang members tells him that he is already too wounded to move around and proposes that he goes to a hospital first. Jang Sung-ju replies by letting him know that he is fine and tells them to look for the members who got taken away by the police instead. Sung-ju is too invested in the thought of figuring out the mystery of the Sampo gang, and eventually, he decides to figure it out himself. He tells all his gang members to wait outside as he enters to meet the boss of the Tiger Claw gang. Subsequently, we are introduced to Shin Do-hyun, the leader, who is surrounded by 2 beautiful ladies. The scene changes to school, where Jung-suk finds himself in quite a lot of trouble. He has to choose between the lunch that was prepared for him by both Eun-young and Sim Jae-hee. The competition is hard between the two, as they ask him which one he will choose. Eun-young presents her case, saying that she knows that Jung-suk does not bring lunch, so she went out of her way to make it for him. He must accept it for that reason. On the other hand, Sim Jae-hee presents her case, saying that she made this knowing that Jung-suk does not eat much in a day. She made sure to prepare a healthy one for her. This offends Eun-young as she questions whether Jae-hee is meaning to call her lunch unhealthy. Jae-hee denies it, but the friendly animosity is heating up. Meanwhile, Jung-suk is worried as to what to do, because his father prepared lunch for him today. His father was bothered by him mentioning his mother, which made him think his son is lonely. That's why he woke up super early to make this lunch for his son. But now Eun-young and Sim Jae-hee are at his throat with the lunches. With no other way to go about things without choosing both, he picks both lunches. He says that small lunch packages won't do anything for him, so he will take both. He starts eating both lunches and apologizes to his father inside his mind, saying that he will have his father's food as dinner instead. The two girls watch him eagerly, asking him if he likes it and looking for an excuse to make this a daily thing between them. After he is done eating, Jung-suk feels like he has eaten too much thanks to having to consume lunches from both girls. He goes and sits on a bench. As he is seated there, he is approached by Eun-young, who noticed that he had eaten too much and offers him cola to digest the food. On the other hand, there is Sim Jae-hee, who has brought homemade tea for Jung-suk. The two girls clash once again, as Jae-hee suggests that the cola is not good for Jung-suk's health, while Eun-young thinks cola is the appropriate drink as it will help Jung-suk digest the food better. The teachers watch all this taking place. The male teacher in particular is very much bothered by this. He does not like how the students use the school as a means to date and finds it disrespectful. Han Ji-hai, the female teacher, thinks the rage is because the guy is jealous of Jung-suk. The guy also further goes on to question the taste of girls these days, as he can't quite understand why two beautiful ladies would fall in love with a lowly delinquent such as Jung-suk. He insinuates that it must be because girls like bad boys nowadays. Han Ji-hai has a naughty smirk hearing this, as she tells the teacher that it is not about him being a bad boy. After a while, the school ends for the day along with the bell going off. After school, Eun-young tells Jung-suk that she has bought 2 tickets for the amusement park, so they should go there together on a date. Sim Jae-hee also talks about how she wanted to go to the beach along with Jung-suk. After all, she also wants to be alone and spend time with him. Eun-young is quite confident about this. She feels that going on after-school dates is her best option when it comes to getting close to Jung-suk, even though she ended up spending all the money on this. Jung-suk is once again left conflicted as to what he should do. He decides, like last time, to play for both sides, as he tells them that he would like to go with them both. Both of them are a bit taken aback by Jung-suk's refusal to pick a side. Eun-young is especially bothered by this, as she accuses Jung-suk of double-timing them. Jung-suk reminds her that he never promised either of them that he would date them right away. He is doing this simply because he wants to pick the best possible girlfriend for himself. Eun-young is quite offended by this, but Jae-hee says it is fine from her side. She is fine with Jung-suk checking both of them out, as this is an important decision to make. Jung-suk asks Eun-young if she is also okay with this happening. Eun-young is reluctant, but she lets him know that she will not be giving up on this relationship so easily, so she will play along with his wishes for now. After that, the 3 of them go to the amusement park together. Sim Jae-hee and Jung-suk were both shocked on arrival, as they did not expect the park to be so big. Jung-suk comes to realize that despite being a long-time citizen of the city, he has never gone to any amusement parks. He comes to the conclusion that gangsters have no right to go to these places anyway. However, Eun-young had told them to hurry up, as they want to get on as many rides as possible. Following that, the 3 of them get on all sorts of different rides. They also end up having different kinds of snacks that people usually have in these places and spend an overall good time together. After checking out the sunset together, the 3 of them make their way out of the place. As they start walking back home, Sim Jae-hee asks Jung-suk how he really feels, as it felt like to her that they have been dragging him to places against his will. Jung-suk lets her know that he really enjoyed his time at the place. It was not a lie. Jung-suk really did not have this much fun since he got a second chance in life. In fact, this is probably the most fun he has had in any life. Just then, Jung-suk is brought out of his thoughts by a loud scream from Eun-young. He wonders what is up, when he sees a badly beaten up Jang Sung-ju along with another man on the middle of the road. Eun-young quickly recognizes Jang Sung-ju and worries about what happened. Jung-suk is also a bit surprised by the whole situation. As Jung-suk is left perplexed about these things, Eun-young quickly runs over to check on Jang Sung-ju. She wonders if he has passed away already, but the lackey lets her know that he is alive. Eun-young gets up and is about to inform the police and call an ambulance for help, but the lackey grabs her arm and tells her to stop. This angers Jung-suk, as he gets Eun-young away from the grasp of the lackey and tells him to watch where he touches. The lackey isn't concerned about that. Upon seeing Jung-suk, the only thing he wants is help. He asks Jung-suk to somehow hide Jang Sung-ju somewhere. As if he does not do that, The enemy will track them down and finish them off. He begs for his help, despite Jung-suk saying no to it. He says that he is fine if he gets found out and finished off, but he really wants a safe place for Jang Sung-ju to stay in. Jung-suk does not want to do it, but upon further insistence from all sides, he gives in and agrees to help the duo. Later, Jang Sung-ju wakes up at a safe place, and he sees his lackey lying beside him. He is shocked by this, and what shocks him even further is the fact that he is being treated by Sim Jae-hee. Jae-hee tells him to not move and stay still, as he is attending to his several wounds. Sung-ju asks her who she is, before coming to realize that he had previously met her before. Just at that moment, Jung-suk walks into the room and asks him what's the need for him to ask for a young girl's name. Sung-ju is further shocked seeing the sudden appearance of Jung-suk. Jung-suk goes on about how Sung-ju is talking too much for someone who is in someone else's house. He talks about how he regrets helping them already. Sung-ju is curious and asks Jung-suk if he was the one who had treated his wounds. Jung-suk lets him know how he had stitched him up not long ago, so he shouldn't move around much. Sung-ju is astounded by the pro-level work Jung-suk had done on him and wonders how a schoolboy managed to do it. Meanwhile, we learn that Jung-suk, in his previous life, learned how to do various medical procedures, because he was a lackey who was stabbed and attacked multiple times. Once everything has settled down, Jung-suk asks Sung-ju just what had caused such a huge problem to the number 2 of the Tiger Skull gang. Sung-ju explains to him that it all started after he visited the boss place. A flashback is shown of that time. The boss treats him well upon seeing him. Sung-ju informed the boss that he wouldn't have to worry much now as they've managed to secure the business district for now. The boss is quite nonchalant about this, saying he has no reason to worry when Sung-ju is taking charge. After that, Sung-ju said that he heard that the leader had something to say to him, so he wonders what it is. The boss tells him not to think about it now as he is already very tired. He tells him to have a drink and relax first. After all, it must be tough operating under the police. Sung-ju thanks the boss and says that it is true. He does not know why, but the police seem proactive nowadays. The boss then shows him a document. The document contains information about a district police officer named Ju Young-sung. He is the one behind the police's crackdown on gang activities. Even though he is not in a huge posting, he is quite good at his job. He has the record for most arrests in recent times. Sung-ju checks it out but questions the boss how he had gotten his hands on this. The boss informs him that he had gotten this from the Day-HM. This shocks Sung-ju, as Day-HM aren't just any bodies. The Day-HM is a large organization that is way beyond normal gang activities. They're covert with their moves and are directly involved in business and politics among other things. He wonders why the Day-HM would give them this information. The boss informs him that it is because the Day-HM wants to get rid of the police officer. This goes against how Sung-ju does stuff, as he tells the boss that he thinks it's not good to go against the police. It's quite foolish. The boss says that he knows what Sung-ju means. That being said, the Day-HM are offering them those opportunities, so it is worth taking. The next day, Sung-ju goes to the place as mentioned in the intel. There it is said that Ju Young-sung goes to work at around 5 or 6 a.m. in the morning. It should be rather easy to get to him at around that time, because the streets are empty. The boss told him to send one of his lackeys to do it, but he has come to do it himself. Ju Young-sung gets out of his house, as his wife sees him out for work. Sung-ju realizes that the intel about him was spot on. However, he wonders why a huge organization like the Day-HM would investigate a police officer so thoroughly for them. It all seems a bit fishy. Right then, one of Jang Sung-ju's lackeys arrives to the scene. Sung-ju is angered by this, as he had previously mentioned how he wanted to do this alone. But the lackey says that he couldn't hold himself back knowing that his leader has come here alone for work. The lackey notices the hesitance showcased by Sung-ju and asks him if he is reluctant to take the police officer's life. He offers to do it instead of Sung-ju. Jang Sung-ju turns it down, asking if the guy had ever taken a life. He says that he must have not done so, because after all Sung-ju himself has not taken lives himself. Stabbing people is one thing, but he made sure no one's life ended from his blows. The lackey insists that Jang Sung-ju lets him do it, But Sung-ju tells him to not dirty his hands until the order is given. He wants to do it himself, not just because he wants to protect his lackeys, but also because he wants to see the real motivation of the Dae-HM. Back in real time, Jung-suk confirms if it really was Dae-HM who was pulling the strings. Sung-ju replied that it was indeed them. He states that Jung-suk might not know of the Dae-HM, but they are huge. They can make top gang leaders and big organizations disappear out of thin air, which is why he's stopping all proceedings to investigate Dae-HM first. Jung-suk asks him if he found out anything about the Dae-HM, to which Sung-ju says he did not. He used all of his connections to get info on them, but their security is too strong to get anything out of them. Jung-suk then asks if this was the reason behind his current state. This would have led to the boss, Shin Do-hyun, declaring him excommunicado and letting his peers loose on him. He must have been stabbed by them and eventually made his way here. Sung-ju praises his sharp deduction but says that is only partly correct, as the people who attacked him were Yeom Ki-hwan and his squad. They stabbed him with a knife and got back to him for previous times. Yeom Ki-hwan told him that he was carrying this assassination out on behalf of the Dae-HM, as they did not want a traitor on the loose. He also told him about how Shin Do-hyun told Yeom Ki-hwan to take his life as well. Sung-ju gave up at that point, but his other lackeys came for the save. They fought and ordered the lackey who got injured as well to take him to safety. The lackey berated Sung-ju for being dumb and not going ahead with the assassination of the police officer. However, he states that they followed him because he was dumb in the first place. And so, the lackey escorted him to safety. That is how he got here. Jung-suk asks him what he plans to do next now, because he can't stay there forever after all. Jang Sung-ju says that he plans to go and meet the boss himself and try to make sure that his gang members stay safe. Jung-suk thinks that doing this will only cause more harm. He warns Jang Sung-ju, saying that going to the boss will just make him lose his life quicker. Sung-ju says he understands exactly what will happen, but if that assures the safety for his members, he is willing to do so. Jung-suk tells him that it's not a good idea. He says that Sung-ju is being tricked. Sung-ju does not understand what he means, so Jung-suk explains that why would a big organization like this need help from them for this? Besides, why would they send critical information through mail? This angers Sung-ju to the point that he pushes Jung-suk against a wall. Jung-suk hits him in the throat to get out of his hold and tells him to stay still as the stitches aren't dried up yet. The hit gets Sung-ju back to his senses. He tells Jung-suk that the information he got regarding Ju Young-sung was absolutely true. He confirmed it for himself. Jung-suk replies by telling him to open his mind up a little. Because just how long would it take for a gang that has been running for years to get such low-level intel like that? It finally dawns upon Sung-ju that he might have been tricked by Yeom Ki-hwan into believing this. Jung-suk says that the guy just picked the weakest point for Sung-ju and struck there. But he thinks that it might just be a good thing. Sung-ju does not quite get what he means. Jung-suk thinks about his previous life and how one of his gang members got embroiled in a controversy with the Dae-HM. They finished him off on the spot. Jung-suk stood there and couldn't say anything to oppose it. In fact, he apologized. Sung-ju asks him how he knows so much about Dae-HM, to which Jung-suk replies that if he were to tell Jung-suk, he wouldn't believe him. Jung-suk wonders if the Dae-HM he knew in his previous life is still the same. Then Yeom Ki-hwan barely has any time left to live. Meanwhile, at the Dae-HM office, a guy comes to make a report to a higher-up. The higher-up hears this and laughs. He did not know that such dumb people still exist and tells the guy that he wants to go and meet them face to face. After that, the Dae-HM started mobilizing, as the end for Yeom Ki-hwan draws closer. Jung-suk recalls his time as a lackey in his previous life. As a new Sampo gang prospect, he asked Yeom Ki-hwan why he became a gangster. This angered Ki-hwan, as he almost attacked Jung-suk. Jung-suk backs out and says that he was just curious because he had heard Ki-hwan was a soldier. So, he must have earned a lot of money from that. Ki-hwan asks him where he had heard that from. Jung-suk replies that he had overheard a few people talking about Ki-hwan being in the special forces, and that's how he learned how to fight. Ki-hwan tells him to not be ridiculous, as soldiers don't really earn a lot of money. Jung-suk questions his mindset though, asking if he does not feel any kind of patriotism for the country. This angers Ki-hwan again, as he grabbed Jung-suk by the collar and pushed him back. He told him to not use words like patriotism, trust, or other terms that describe something that can't be seen, because he simply does not believe in them. Back in the current time, Jung-suk wonders how such an impactful and cutthroat person like Ki-hwan made such a bad decision. He must definitely know the consequences of using Dae-hm's name, so why would he do it? He can't help but wonder if there is more to it that meets the naked eye. The scene changes to the headquarters of the Sampo gang, where the leader of the gang slaps Yom Ki-hwan across the face. He is livid, asking Ki-hwan just why he used the Dae-hm's name to send a letter and take out Jang Sung-ju. He asks Yom Ki-hwan if he is aware of what this could lead to. Ki-hwan replies by saying that he simply followed the orders as was given to him. He was told to cripple the Tiger Skull gang by using whatever means possible, so he did just that. The leader is frustrated, letting him know that despite what was said, he should be aware of the few methods that aren't permissible in any way. The leader then turns to a different member and tells him to inform all members of the Sampo gang that they are not in any way affiliated with the Dae-hm. Yom Ki-hwan smirks, as he says that it is probably too late to do that. The leader is confused, but his confusion is turned into dread when he sees the Dae-hm arrive. The Dae-hm makes their way in, and with them the leader, Kim Chun-ho. They waste little to no time in asking for the person named Yom Ki-hwan, as he was using their name. The leader of Sampo gang is scared as heck, so he quickly points at Yom Ki-hwan and sells him out without hesitation. He tells them that it was all his doing and no one else was involved. Yom Ki-hwan steps up and greets the president of Dae-hm. He also apologizes to him for making him come to such a lowly place. The president is a bit shocked and asks him if he knew about the consequences of doing what he did. He apologizes, saying that he did know, and mentions that it was his only way to meet the president. This angers the Sampo gang's leader, but he is quickly hit with a phoenix punch to his throat by Yom Ki-hwan, shutting him down like Wing Chun masters do. The president is taken aback by this. He questions Ki-hwan how desperately he wants to lose his life for him to first use their name and then create a commotion in front of them. Ki-hwan once again tells the president that this is all for him to get the president's attention, as he wants to put forward an offer. The president asks what the offer is, to which Ki-hwan says that he offers the entirety of Incheon to them in exchange for becoming a member of Dae-hm. The president is not interested in taking over a small city like that, saying that he does not see any profit. He then orders his lackeys to finish Yom Ki-hwan. Just then, Ki-hwan presents the various fields he can explore in Incheon, including the airport and new construction sites. He says that the construction process would include getting people from the smaller villages in. This in turn will anger the Incheon citizens, and such a thing will be too cumbersome for the Dae-hm, because they are an anonymous organization. So, he offers to manage the entire procedure and gives all the profit shares to the Dae-hm. The president likes the offer, but lets him know that all of Incheon is not owned by the Sampo gang. Yom Ki-hwan says he is aware of that. He says that he has eliminated his biggest threat, and that within a month, he will end all gangs including Sampo. The president agrees on this offer, saying that he needs to reunite the Incheon underground within a month. Only then will he get to be in the Dae-hm as an executive. However, if he fails to do so, he will give him a fate so bad that he would wish for his life to end. Yom Ki-hwan smiles and agrees to the terms. As all things are sorted out, Kim Chun-ho declares Yom Ki-hwan as the leader of the Sampo gang going forward. Following that, the scene shifts back to the school. There, Jung-suk is sitting on the outside bench alongside Eun-young. Young is a bit worried about the situation of Sung-ju and wonders if he will be fine when all things are said and done. Jung-suk gives Eun-young a wicked stare, before telling her that she is going to get 50 girlfriend points docked off for talking about another man in front of him. Eun-young is a bit flustered because of this and asks why Jung-suk is referring to her as a girlfriend. Jung-suk asks if he should stop doing it, in a rather teasing way. Eun-young ignores this and gets back on topic, asking if Jang Sung-ju is okay after going out in that condition. Jung-suk says that she shouldn't be worried about a gangster, and that he walked out on his own despite Jung-suk trying to stop him. A mini flashback is shown of the time when Jang Sung-ju left. Both Eun-young and Jung-suk tried to stop him, but he was having none of it. Sung-ju said that he has already caused them a lot of problems, so he does not want to add more on top of that. Jung-suk says that he indeed has caused a lot of problems for them, so that is exactly why he should stay for longer, as a little more problem won't hurt them severely. He states that Yeom Ki-hwan will be taken out soon anyway, so it should not be an issue for him. However, Jang Sung-ju replied that he needs to go despite knowing all of that, because he cannot betray the people who sacrificed their place in the Tiger Claw gang to fight for him. He cannot just stay back and live here peacefully like a hypocrite. Jung-suk is annoyed by this, as he questions Jang Sung-ju if it will be okay for him to go from here and let the sacrifices made by his comrades go in vain. Sung-ju is angered by this, as he slams his hands against the doorknob. Eun-young also gets irritated at Jung-suk for being rude. Sung-ju then goes on to thank Jung-suk once again, saying that he did help him a lot, but if he ends up talking badly about his comrades again, Jung-suk will have to pay. And so he left the place. Back in real time, Jung-suk is still mad at Sung-ju for his behavior. He deems him to be ungrateful, saying that Jung-suk's effort in patching him up was left unnoticed by him. Eun-young blames Jung-suk for all of this, saying he was behaving too rudely. Jung-suk went off on this topic, letting Eun-young know that he really hates all gangsters. He thinks about his previous life as one, as he tells her that no matter how much camaraderie they might show, and justful they might act, all gangsters are scum. Young-young disagrees with this assessment, stating that if that is the case then she should be treated like that too. After all, she is a daughter of a gangster, and if all gangsters are scum, then she should be scum too because she came from one. Jung-suk gets caught off guard by this, but he tries his best to explain how her situation is different from the one he is referring to. Young-young says that she understands what she means, but there is more side to things than what is known. She explains how Jang Sung-ju was always nice to her. He would bring her gifts while her father was too busy being drunk. He would pay for their medical bills too, and even if her dad's skills were not useful to him, he would still find a spot for him to do his job and get paid. She understands that actions taken by Sung-ju must have hurt others, but to her, he is nice. She also adds how he always treated his comrades well and treated them nicely. Jung-suk jives in, saying all that does not change the fact that he is a gangster. Eun-young replies by pointing out to Jung-suk and her own time as being despicable bullies with no redeeming qualities. However, they have turned things around for them, which is the reason why Jung-suk should not see everything in such a straightforward manner. Jung-suk is shocked from the amount of maturity put on showcase by Eun-young. He can't believe that she of all people would turn out to be the voice of reason. He looks at her and thinks of how she has an unusually mature side to her, while Eun-young herself blushes wildly. Later in the evening, as they are walking back home, Eun-young once again questions if everything will really be okay with Jang Sung-ju. Jung-suk tells her to not go on about the same thing over and over again, before saying that he will be just fine. Just as long as Shin Do-hyun, the boss of the Tiger Claw, does not turn out to be a dumb idiot, they will be fine. He must have surely seen through the fluff by now. During this, Jung-suk thinks to himself if everything will be fine, as he hopes that Jang Sung-ju does not do anything reckless and stays safe. Just then, Eun-young asks Jung-suk how he knows so much about gangsters. Jung-suk is taken aback by this, before telling her that it is a long story. Eun-young misinterprets this as Jung-suk also having gangsters in his family and feels bad for being inconsiderate of that earlier on. Jung-suk understands that Eun-young must be thinking of something wild, but he can't break the ice on this topic. Right at that moment, the two of them see a duo of gangsters bullying an old lady. They start breaking off her items and destroying her street shop, as they ask her for 50,000 won for permission to use the place, because they claim that the place belongs to the Sampo gang. Jung-suk is deeply stunned hearing this, as he did not expect the Sampo gang to pop up. Besides that, they are in the land of the Tiger Skull and are claiming their land. The lady refuses to pay the money, which makes the duo decide that they will drag out the old grandma. Jung-suk notices this and is about to step in when he noticed Eun-young was already off to protect the lady. He understands the danger it poses to go there, The duo was impressed by Eun-young. They appreciate her look and invite her to come with them. Eun-young tries to scare them off by telling them that she has already called the cops. This was taught to her by Sung-ju, as he told her in the past that most gangsters run off when they heard the mention of the police. The gangster duo from Sampo just laugh it off, saying that they are not the kind of gangsters who wet their pants on the mention of the cops. They call her actions to be just as cute as her appearance, before one of the guys tries to grope her. Before he is able to do so, the gangster is met with a devastating lariat by Jung-suk, one which would make Stan Hansen proud. The gangster is immediately knocked out on the spot. The other gangster notices the sudden arrival of Jung-suk and questions him just who he is. Jung-suk casually replies that he is the cop, who is here to beat their piss out. Subsequently, the scene shifts to a police station, where Jung-suk is seated in front of Ju Young-sung. Young-sung tells Jung-suk that it has been a good while since their last meeting. Jung-suk, annoyed, replied saying that it is not relevant to the current situation. He shows off the handcuffs that were put on him as a result of beating up those gangsters and questions why he has them on. Eun-young is even more livid than Jung-suk, as she demands an explanation. She states that Jung-suk did nothing wrong. Those gangsters were bullying and hurting an old lady, so they stepped in to help her out. The police officer explains that while he gets the point, he cannot justify such a brutal attack on those guys as just self-defense. Jung-suk is not shocked by this, as this is the way police usually behave. Ju Young-sung then lets the two know that they can leave quickly though, because those guys were wanted for causing a lot of damage to a lot of people. He was about to say that those guys would be put in jail for a year. However, before he could complete it, he was interrupted by a team of people who tell him that they will be taking away the Sampo gang members, as the case is under their jurisdiction now. This ends up shocking both Ju Young-sung and Jung-suk. The guy tells them that they have been investigating the two gangsters for a long time now, so they want to keep doing that. Young-sung is fine with that, but he asks for a document that verifies the claim from the prosecutor. This angers the prosecutor, and he ends up slapping Ju Young-sung across the face. This stuns everyone, as the prosecutor goes on about how Young-sung does not know how to respect the higher-up. Another police officer has to step in to take the prosecutor away, promising to punish Young-sung for his misbehavior. Jung-suk is also bothered by this, as he notices the two gangsters smiling when all of this was happening. Eventually, the prosecutor gets those gangsters out and lets them go freely. Jung-suk sees this and says that it was just as he had suspected. The prosecutor just came here to get those guys away. Young-sung is pissed off because of this. He groans and talks about how badly these people seem to treat the police, showing them no respect whatsoever. Jung-suk listens to all of this, but tells Young-sung that it is better for him to stay away from this case. He tells him that getting involved in this case would mean for him to put his own and his family's life in danger, because those gangsters are even more powerful now that the police are backing them up. Young-sung asks him just how he knows so much about the gangster world. Jung-suk replies that he can't tell him how he knows that, even if he threatens to beat him up for it. However, he tells Young-sung to be wary from now on, because the DHM are now involved in all of this. This shocks Ju Young-sung, as he can't believe the DHM are involved in this, because the DHM are known to be a very big and dangerous organization. After that, Eun-young and Jung-suk make their way out of that place. Eun-young asks Jung-suk if he is hurt somewhere from the fighting. Jung-suk lets her know that it is not about that. Instead, he is worried about the fact that the worst thing possible just happened. Eun-young is understandably worried after hearing this, and she asks if this has to do with the DHM being involved. Jung-suk confirms her doubt to be true. He thinks about how the things are going very bad. Sampo gang was supposed to go into hiding because of Yeom Ki-hwan's missteps, but they are operating directly and being helped by the DHM. He realizes that Jong Sung-ju's life might be in danger now. After that, Jung-suk tells Eun-young that she should be careful now, because she is going to be in trouble now. Meanwhile, at the Sampo gang headquarters, Yeom Ki-hwan berates the two gangsters for not doing their job properly and gets arrested. One of them smiles and says that there is no problem because they are now working with the DHM, and DHM will protect them. Yeom Ki-hwan is irate after listening to this, and he smashes a nearby chair onto the face of the guy. The guy drops down, as Yom Ki-hwan talks about how the day HM helped them because they don't want their project to be in jeopardy right away. They did not do it because they loved him. He beats up the guy further, as he goes on about how this is really bad for them. They can't be making such rookie mistakes and give off a bad impression to the day HM. Following that, Yom Ki-hwan asks the other guy if he is really sure about the high school kid being Oh Jung-suk. The guy says that it was definitely him because he remembers seeing his face before. He says that it was definitely him because he had the same face, red hair, and the Sampo High School uniform. Yom Ki-hwan is bothered by this, as he did not know that Jung-suk was this much of a nuisance. Initially, he thought Jung-suk was just another kid who could fight, but he seems to be bigger than that. Ki-hwan thinks about how Jung-suk carries a sense of confidence that is simply too much for a simple high schooler. He seems to be very knowledgeable about the underworld too. What bothers him even more is the stuff he said while the Sampo gang got into a confrontation with him earlier. It really seemed like Jung-suk is someone who knows Yom Ki-hwan from the past. Yom Ki-hwan knows the danger that this simple high schooler might pose to them and decides to do something about it while they have a chance. After that, we see a man stuffing a bag with stones, before going somewhere with intent. Meanwhile, two Sampo gangsters are seen hanging out in the city. One of them says that they need to urinate and goes to do so. Some time passes, but the guy does not return, so his teammate goes to check on him. There, he finds out that the guy has been knocked out. He goes to check up on him immediately and wonders what happened. But behind him waited the guy who stuffed the plastic bag with stones. The guy uses the bag to hit the gangster on the back of his head and knock him out just like his teammate. After that, the masked man takes off his mask to reveal that he was Jung-suk. The next day at school, Sim Jae-hee is worried and asks Eun-young if Jung-suk got hurt and if he is okay. Eun-young says that he did not get hurt and there must be some other reason for him to not come to school. Eun-young is worried about why Jung-suk did not show up after how much concern he showed the day before. Sim Jae-hee is also worried because she knows that Jung-suk got involved in some gang issues and wonders if that has come to bite him. Just then, some delinquents show up and start flirting with the two girls. Eun-young took Jae-hee's hands and tried to leave the scene. The guys stop them and ask them what's the rush is. Eun-young is recognized as one of the guys who teased her previously. The guy says that he heard that Jung-suk did not show up to school again after getting beaten up by the Sampo gang. This scares both Eun-young and Sim Jae-hee, as they wonder if what the guy said was true. The guy was just bluffing though, so he says it was a rumor, which relieves the two girls. After that, the guy tries to approach the two girls again, saying that they need someone to be their knight in Jung-suk's absence. Eun-young defiantly replies that she does not want to take help from them, as she already knows what they are like. So, she tells them to go away. The guy gets angered by this and tries to hit Eun-young, but he is intercepted by Do Jun-so. Eun-young is surprised by his sudden appearance and asks him if he is Mr. Chin. Do Jun-so introduces himself to her, before telling those guys to back off. They trash talk with each other for a while before Do Jun-so declares that he will protect the girls of Jung-suk with everything he has. Right then, he gets kicked in by another one of the bullies, and they start beating him up badly. Around that time, Jung-suk arrives at school and wonders what the commotion is all about. Meanwhile, the beatdown of Do Jun-so continues and Sim Jae-hee tries to protest and stop it. However, this angers the bully guy again, and he is about to hit Sim Jae-hee because of it. Eun-young warns him against it, saying he shouldn't even think about hitting Jae-hee. But the guy was about to go through with it anyway, when Jung-suk entered the scene. He came to check what was the big deal going on there. His face is full of scars and wounds from the fight that took place with the Sampo gang. Eun-young is at first mad at him for showing up late, but soon both her and Jae-hee realize that he is severely hurt from the fight with the gangsters. The bully guy notices the condition Jung-suk is in and realizes that the rumor of him getting beaten up by the Sampo gang is, in fact, true. He plans to take advantage of this and eliminate his aura by beating Jung-suk up in front of everyone. He loads up a punch which is enhanced tenfolds by brass knuckles. He goes for the knockout punch, but Jung-suk sees it coming and catches him with a counter straight punch of himself and knocks the guy out. However, Jung-suk does not stop there, as he starts stomping on the bully guy's head. He asks the bully guy if he was sent there by Yom Ki-hwan. The guy tries to explain that he does not know who that even is. But his explanation is not heard, and Jung-suk keeps beating him up to a pulp. Jung-suk wasn't stopping the beatdown no matter what was happening. Everyone soon started worrying if Jung-suk was going to end up taking the life of the guy, because no one could stop him. Just at that moment, Sim Jae-hee steps in and gives Jung-suk a back hug, telling him to stop and come back to his senses. This helps Jung-suk to finally not go crazy, as he realizes the mistake he just made. He ends up apologizing to the guy for how extreme he had gotten with his beatdown. Just as all of this is taking place, the glasses guy watches on from afar. As he witnesses all the good stuff, he thinks that Jung-suk is really looking like he can't do anything and wonders why. Later at the rooftop, Jung-suk asks Eun-young if she has done as he had told her to. Eun-young notices Jae-hee standing behind the wall and listening to them but continues normally as she says that she did do as he said. She and her father packed up their belongings and left the house. Now they're living in a cheap motel. Jung-suk says that it is good enough for now. He says that he does not think that the day HM will go for a low-level gangster like her father, but still it is for safety purposes. Jung-suk then goes on to say that the day HM are really vicious. Eun-young hears this and holds Jung-suk's face in concern. Jung-suk quickly brushes her off, saying that he isn't in the mood for that kind of thing. Eun-young gets annoyed, saying that she wasn't really planning on doing anything lewd. She explains that she is just worried about him after what he said about maintaining safety, but now he is the one covered in wounds. Jung-suk lies, saying that he had fallen down the stairs and gotten these injuries. Eun-young sees right through it, adding that he can't possibly get those kinds of injuries from falling down the stairs. Jung-suk replies by saying that he had rolled down the stairs in a nasty way to acquire these injuries. He then proceeds to leave the scene saying that he has to prepare for classes, much to Eun-young's dismay. As he walks off, Jae-hee, who was hiding behind the wall, tries to talk with him. However, Jung-suk tells her to not waste time and get ready for class as he rushes away from the scene. Jung-suk in his mind apologizes to both Jae-hee and Eun-young for behaving this way, but he must do it to not get them involved in the gangster business. Later in the classroom, the teacher Han Ji-hai was teaching about past and present participle phrases, but Jung-suk's mind was on something else entirely. Jung-suk was thinking about what happened the night prior. He had captured one of the Sampo gang's gangsters to interrogate him. The gangster was defiant. He asked Jung-suk if he thought he could get away with what he is doing at the moment. Surprisingly enough, he also points out that he recognizes Jung-suk, saying that a simple mask wouldn't be able to hide his identity. Jung-suk is taken aback by this. While he never thought that a face mask would be able to conceal his entire face, he also did not think he would get figured out so quickly. He wonders how he got so famous so quickly. Anyway, he ignores that and starts questioning the guy, asking him who is backing them up. The guy refuses to answer, and in turn, Jung-suk starts beating the heck out of him. As he rained down stomps on the gangster, he asked just what Yeom Ki-hwan did to get the day HM on their side. The gangster laughs while getting beaten up, stating that this should be the last thing Jung-suk should worry about, because Yeom Ki-hwan has just ordered the entire Sampo gang to be on the lookout for him, Jung-suk, and capture him. This bit of information astounds Jung-suk, as he grabs the collar of the guy, asking what he meant by this. Just then, a bunch of Sampo gang members make their way to the place, looking to get a piece of Jung-suk. They don't waste any time in going all in at Jung-suk, and hence how he got his injuries. Back in the present, Jung-suk wonders why Yeom Ki-hwan is so obsessed with him. After all, in his current life, he has only once crossed paths with him and the Sampo gang. For doing so, Jung-suk paid the price heavily by getting beaten up in a one-sided affair. So why does Yeom Ki-hwan hold something against him? He wonders what the reasoning could be. Suddenly, he comes back to his senses and notices Han Ji-hai just standing there. Jung-suk asks her why she is standing in front of him during the class. To which Han Ji-hai says that the class has been over for some 5 minutes now, but Jung-suk was deeply lost in his thoughts. She then asks him to come with her to the teacher's office, as they need to talk about something. Subsequently, they meet up at the teacher's office, where Jung-suk asks if she had called him to scold him for being late. Ji-hye replies that she does not want to do that. Instead, she was just worried about him. Jung-suk tells her not to worry about him, because there is nothing out of the norm for Oh Jung-suk to get into a few fights. Ji-hye disagrees with that assessment, stating that it would be the norm for the old him, but the new him is not like that. She states that Jung-suk is a changed man, and that he is no longer the delinquent he once was. That is why she is worried. Jung-suk comes to understand what she means and immediately apologizes to her for making her worry about him. However, he lets her know that she can't tell her about the problem he is going through, because it is deeply personal. Han Ji-hye understands that, but comes forward and hugs a seated down Jung-suk, saying that while he does not need to tell her, he shouldn't worry about stuff on his own. So, if he ever needs to tell someone about it, he can tell her. Jung-suk is moved by this and tells her that he will tell her if he finds the need. After that, Jung-suk makes his way out of the school. As the sun goes down, he is left conflicted about what comes next. Just at that moment, Jung-suk sees Sim-jae he standing outside waiting for him. He hesitantly asks Jung-suk if he wants to go back home with her. Jung-suk immediately starts walking away alone, saying that he already told her to leave. He asks him why he is behaving the way that he is. Jung-suk explains that it is because the Sampo gang is after him, and he does not want them to get into trouble because of him. He is a bit scared off by this, and Jung-suk notices the upset look on her face. He finally gives in and pulls He close to him. He says that they can be together for just the day only, and starting tomorrow he won't be listening to anything she says. He agrees to the terms. As Jung-suk walks carelessly with his arms around he had no idea what was to come. If he did, he would never take her with him to begin with, because right in front of him was the Sampo gang, led by the leader himself, Yom Ki-hwan.